Mic check 1 2. Mic. Oh yeah, the mic is good. The mic is good. What's up? What's going on, everybody? Doing a later afternoon show today, but shout out to everybody who's in the building. Let's get ready to go. Let me double check a couple more things. Double checking a couple more things. But let's get ready to go. Let's get ready to roll. Let's get this thing started. Y'all know how we do. Gotta find my intro. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
Aaron B, there will be no links being dropped for Snuggles. You can almost forget that one. Snuggles wouldn't come up anyway. That would be something if Snuggles actually hopped on the panel. But what's up? What's going on, everybody? I'd like to formally welcome you to the show known as the Grown Man Hour. Shout out to everybody who's in the building. Shout out to RM. Shout out to Obam. This is going to be an interesting one. I did a pre-recorded video, dropped it later last night. It's doing really well. Almost at like, y'all can't see all the views, but looking at it in the analytics in the back, and it's closing in on 17,000 views. Pre-records normally don't do that well, so I'm excited about that. So I figured I'd follow it up with a live stream today. Since it's semi going viral for me. Might as well ride the wave a little bit, talk about that. But Obama in the building says, too late because the manosphere pressed him, but it means nothing. The damage is done. What damage? Little Big Nate argued that it just put a message out there that it's okay for a woman to generally talk to men like that, just be disrespectful, I'm trying to keep it. Hey, this is a hard show to keep clean, because if I'm quoting Nicki Minaj here, this is going to be a hard, clean show. I'll probably just forget about it. But yeah, if she's going that hard in the paint right out the gate, she's going that hard in the paint. So telling men, grown men, what they could to eat genitalia. Yeah. Not a good look on a major platform. A woman doing that against a man who has a major platform. Yeah. So Lil Big Nate made some good arguments on that, even though, like I said it once, I say it again. I'm not going to belabor the point on that. A lot of people reach when they said that she told him that. but don't tell no man that when you're talking to me. Don't say that about no other man. So that's good point by Little Big Nate. But he says, plus it is not direct response. It is not a direct response. Always, as always, he don't want confrontation. He don't want confrontation. Yeah, it's half truth in that win for Nicki Minaj. I don't think he minds the confrontation. He don't want to have a shouting match with Nicki Minaj, but I do think he wants a conversation. Well, you're right in the sense that he doesn't want a confrontation, but I do think he wants a conversation. I do think he can have a conversation where he offered, pushback and counter argument. He can do that. He can do that, but it didn't happen when they were on live. And then she doubled down again with Joe Budden, and then Kevin Samuels, for those that don't know, did an Instagram live where he did what I assessed to be, and I made a video where I edited to put it all together. He did what I assessed to be is put a response to Nicki Minaj. He hid it inside. He hid it inside the Instagram live. In between callers, like every other caller, he would say something that was essentially responding to what Nicki Minaj said on the Joe Budden thing, even responding to something that Joe Budden said. So he's responding to them. So there's a lot of different elements to this and a lot of things to unpack. And shout out to Enigma Inc. says KS response is later than a reparations payment. That's funny for real. Aaron B in the building. Janet J, he says, Cat had his tongue when he had the perfect chance to respond. Is he just realizing that his super chat money is going down? Is that something that you can confirm? I don't think you can confirm that. He's been barely going live on YouTube, so I don't think you can say that his super chat money is going down. I know he just recently did a stream. I think it was his birthday. Well, it had to be his birthday because everybody was super chatting him $100 and happy birthday at the same time. And it was like 16 $100 super chats on the board. So I don't think his super chat's going nowhere. I think he's just talking junk right there. But yeah, shout out to Snuggles, who got timed out before the show even started. She came in here and said some nonsense. I had to time her out. Had to get her out of here. Shout out to the Human Chapter, says I would have preferred for Kevin to have Nicki Minaj on his show. Since the interview went well to some extent, then he would correct the things he didn't do the first time around. Would have been interesting. I think they may be in a place. I mean, I would love for them to get together and just have a real conversation, because it's indirect subliminal sneak dissing that they both are doing. I'm going to play my video where I edited together, where she, said, I'm not talking about Kevin. And then, she goes on to describe what Kevin does. I already did a stream on that called Nicki Minaj Has Smoke for the Manosphere. Kevin Samuels essentially did the same thing. He said, I'm not talking about Nicki Minaj, but then he went on to respond to something that Nicki Minaj said. So it's like it's almost like this WWE thing. And somebody made a good point in my comment section where they ultimately said that that these people talk behind the scenes and they know what's going on. It's sort of like this speaking of, I was about to say the Saint and the Sinner situation is sort of like that, how the two of them apparently appeared to have beef, but was, cool in person, It's a weird thing. It's almost like this YouTube thing. It turns into some WWE type stuff. But speaking of Satan the Sinner, somebody asked me in my comment section yesterday, not in my comment section, in the live chat of the pre-recorded video when it was premiering. Somebody had asked me the simple question, and shout out to Son is Hot Rod, Obam, Uneducated Lame, Tanya, where you at? I'm seeing names. Tanya the Tutor in the building. Shout out to all of y'all. Appreciate everybody in the building. Shout out to Brenda. We should be on for tomorrow. I think this will be round three of the series where I do the panel with half men, half women. I called the show the gender war. I went on and just went on and leaned into that name. And we had some good conversations on there. So yeah, Game Changer will be on there, and tomorrow LAR Movement will be on there. So we're gonna have me, Game Changer, LAR Movement, and the lovely the lovely Annette is coming back. I know y'all were big fans of her when she was here. I definitely enjoyed talking to her. She's gonna be back. Janet, not Janet. I used to jokingly call I used to jokingly call Jackie Jack Janet Jack me, but Jackie Jack will be there as well. We might get Rod got Rod is on daddy duty. Rod is on daddy duty. Rod might join us at some point in it as well. But either way it go, it is definitely gonna have a good one tomorrow. But shout out to Kenneth Williams in here with the $5 super chat. Shout out to um shout out to Spiritual Logic Hawk in the building, says salute Bernard showing support. Shout out to Spiritual Logic Hawk. Yeah, hey, I need to check that brother's channel out. He's over there doing good stuff. I don't always get time to watch everything that he's doing, but he's brother been around here for a minute. He's one of those ones who started a channel and I didn't even know. I'll be forgetting some people got channels going on, but I've been seeing his thumbnails and everything popping up. Make sure y'all go check that brother out. Dapper Gents in the building. Now that I think about it, yeah, I was just about to say, you and Rod of God, y'all probably make a good collab together. Y'all be on the same wavelength, I think, with the Bible and everything. But JC the Conqueror in the building says salute BR. Salute to all of y'all. But like I was saying, the Saint in the Center, who on my last stream when I was, giving my analysis of the Saint in the Center, pulling up on Kevin Samuels, that was a fun show that did great views. He pulled up at the end of the show and said, "You're welcome," in the chat room. And I asked him a question. Somebody told me that he had said, reach out to him. I didn't know that he said that. I didn't know. I still didn't see the comment. So I don't even know for a fact if he said that, but I do know that he had something called a pull-up show that I didn't know about. And the reason I didn't know about it, because I saw the thumbnail long before the show was on the air, and it said pull-up show, and it showed him doing some pull-ups. Now, he make workout videos. The man makes workout videos, so I'm thinking it's just an actual pull-up show, like he on there doing pull-ups. I'm thinking he about to be on there, showing off that he can do I'm thinking he about to be on there showing off that he can do 200 one-handed pull-ups while reading Socrates with his eyes closed or something. I thought that he was going to be doing something like that. So I was just like, nah, I don't care to see him doing pull-ups. But so I just I started working on my pre-recorded video. I had no idea that the brother had his channel open for people to come through. I think I heard Angry Man came through, and as the Mac the Trucker is saying, Jessica X got roasted on there. I kind of heard about that. I don't know exactly what he said. I don't know. I know very little details about that. I just know when I finally dropped my pre-recorded video last night, somebody was like, "Hey, why you ain't go on Saint in the Center's show?" And I was like, "Was I invited?" But apparently, if it was a pull-up show, yeah, I could have pulled up. I didn't have that much to say to him. I don't have any questions I need to ask him. You ask him. My response to him, pulling up on Kevin Samuels, it wasn't like it was a it wasn't like I was overly negative about him. I cracked a few jokes, but it's nothing I really got to say to him. I did ask that question at the end of the dang, he called her a transformer. Damn. I did ask that question when he was in my chat room. I was like, when he say the lessons from a pimp, and then I heard him criticize tricking before. And that's the thing that came up on this show before, with dudes who pimp Player Max be talking about they pimping and they doing this and they doing that. And then they come to, when guys talk about how they be tricking and flying overseas and paying for it, and pay, some dudes pay for it every now and then. The dudes who be talking about like they got their collar popped, they pimping and whatnot, they be criticizing the tricks, and I never understood that. How could the pimp how could the pimp criticize the trick? I didn't understand that. But I'm sure that he, him being the wordsmith that he is, I'm sure he'll make it make sense. So I mean, that's not even a question that I would even care to ask him. It's just a funny it's just a funny thing. It's just a funny thing. I got nothing against the dude. I got nothing against the dude. So if I would have pulled up on him, it would have been more so just on some content strategy junk. Like, hey, he got nearly 75,000 subs. About to come over here and talk and say something cool, try to make a little bit of sense, and hopefully borrow a couple of his subs. That's all it would have been. That's literally all it would have been if I would have pulled up. Because I got no ill will. I ain't about to pull it like I'm about to ride on him because I ain't like what he said about O'Shea a year ago or Kevin Samuels a year and a half ago. Like, that's goofy. That's goofy. I'm not about to pull up and ride on somebody for that because he said some stuff about Kevin Samuels the other day. No, that's I don't do that. So I would have had no reason to be there other than just to try to siphon a couple subs off of him. But it sounded like it was an entertaining show. It sounded like it was an entertaining show, and I missed it. Sister George cammed up over there. Now that's interesting. Oh no, actually, she was on somebody's show cammed up. She's cammed up before. It's her and Concrete Rose. It's older videos of them. I mean, they not still up, but it was older. They've, I think cammed up in a car. You know how chicks do. But anyway, they made a car video or two. No, I think I'm mistaken. I think I'm mistaken. It was somebody else. I know when Concrete Rose had her channels. I know she did. She did a few little things on camera, and I thought Sister George has been on camera before. So you said I made people cam up. I didn't make nobody cam up. I didn't make nobody cam up. I think it is moving in a direction. It's more pressure to cam up now. I'll say that. It's more pressure to cam up. Nobody's being made to cam up. It's just more pressure to do it. I think Obsidian is supposed to be. Obsidian been talking about it for a minute, so we'll see. We'll see. I think he's gonna do it. I think he's gonna pull it off. I think he's gonna do it. I think he's gonna pull it off. Yeah. So there's. Excuse me. But there's that. But that was an interesting stream that I did, on the Saint in the Center. And Saint in the Center, look, despite all the, I'll never let go of just how just wickedly wrong that whole thing got with him and O'Shea. You can never take away from the fact that brother is wickedly smart. Like he's like. You almost can't say nothing negative about him, but other than the fact that we having a lot of negative shit to say about everybody else. But other than that, you can't say much negative about him. I mean, and here goes somebody got to be with this. Bernard don't want that smoke with Saint. Who do I want smoke with? Name one person that I wanted smoke with since I've been on YouTube. That's my superpower. Not people don't want smoke with me, and I don't want smoke with people. Now, people I have legitimate disagreement with, I can have a debate. I can have a discussion, and we go back and forth. And we see who's right, who's wrong. We pick apart the ideas. But smoke? Nah. I ain't never had smoke with nobody. That's just, I stay out of beef, so don't put stupid stuff like that on there. I mean, that's goofy. Wizard X in the building says he has a God complex. I don't really know what that is. I don't really know how that works. Obam says Bernard tried to be neutral. I really don't try to be neutral. Neutral might not be the right word. I'm objective. I'm gonna analyze it based off the merits of what's being said and not the personality. I try to stick to that. I try to stick to that as much as possible. Even when Obsidian and Jap got into their thing, that's unfortunate. I'm probably going to cut that part out of my show. I think, yeah, I do. I might delete. I want to keep that stream up. It was a great stream, but I may delete that part, edit that part out of it. In fact, I should have been did that. But even when they got into that whole little thing, after Jap said what he said, Obsidian started trying to take it down a path of who was most successful, and I'm like, no, we're not doing that. But then Obsidian, rightfully cut me off. Like, hey, this man pulled up on me on your show and disrespected me. you're gonna let me talk. And I had to step back, like, you know what? That's fair. Say whatever the hell you got to say. That's me being objective. To even when I was cutting Obsidian off, saying that I I was being objective right there, because Obsidian I thought he was taking it down a goofy path. I thought, but either way it go, he was right to point out that whatever the hell he got to say right now is in bounds after what Jap did. So that's not me trying to be neutral. That's me trying to be as objective as possible. That's what I try to do. That's what I have. It's not some deliberate I'm trying to tightrope walk. I'm not sitting on a fence. I have my views, I have my perspective, I have my things that I'm firm on. When other people said Bernard won't smoke with Taylor Swift. When other people come in with their ideas, I listen to them and I judge whether or not they make sense or not. But those of you who say, man, pick a side, you're basically, what you don't realize is that you're telling me to be a mindless drone when you say, pick a side. No, I need to hear what somebody got to say. And after I listen to what you got to say, I can make a decision. Now, you ain't making no sense. The other side is making more sense. Pick a side. No, I'm not picking a side. I'm right here where I'm at, but the people over there are making more sense than you. That's when you're an objective thinking person. Sidism. That's when you're legitimately an objective thinking person. When you're not on this pick a side, because when you're picking a side, you're deciding before you heard the argument who you agree with. Like that's stupid to me. If you decide before you hear the argument who you're going to side with, then you're being stupid. However, I I have my things that we all have our biases. I do have a bias. My bias is going to lean on the side of, if there's a situation and there's a man, or particularly black boys or a black man involved, my bias is on his side. But if I find out that, okay, he went home, he did 8 lines of coke and then beat up his wife and kids and then and then left, if I don't know what happened, I'm going to give that brother the benefit of the doubt. But if I find out that's what happened, don't tell me to pick a side. No, that the dude who did the coke and beat his kids up was wrong. Like, all right. Enough of that. What else was I wanted to get into before I roll the beautiful bean footage? We're gonna break down what he said, because this is going back to the picking a side thing. When it comes to these conversations between men and women and all that's going on and all the back and forth that goes on in this space between men and women, the gender war, which I'm kind of owning in my stream tomorrow, because that'll be part of the title. But I do think the men are right. The men are more right than wrong. That whole little thing. The truth is somewhere in the middle. But when you're dealing with two different extremes, the truth is in the middle. But when you're being objective, I think the men are more right than wrong. I think we're more right than wrong. I think the arguments are better. I think the arguments are flat out better. And I think the manosphere have proven that. And Kevin Samuels talking to Nicki Minaj. That was a moment on a grand stage where she said some stuff. She threw out some stuff that he could have picked apart. And as we're going to see, he did eventually pick it apart much later. And that's my whole thing, that even though it didn't happen right when we wanted it to happen, how we wanted it to happen, in a real sense, it don't count. It was indirect. Whenever he clapped back to anybody, he clapped back indirect, which I respect to somebody who don't beef either. So I do respect an indirect clapback where you float it out there and you say it, and if you know, you know. If you catch it, you catch it. I respect that. But at the same time, people did want to see in real time some of the stuff she was saying get picked apart just because of the enormity of it. Somebody who has a lot of views, ideas, and perspective very similar to ours is talking to somebody who got 187 million followers on social media. we wanted to see our side win, and our side held no W's. You know, we tried to pin a future W if he did a future interview with her. we tried to pin a future W. And I'm still hoping for that. I'm still hoping that they could do something, that something can happen, something can come out of that. But other than that, then nah. But so other than that, the best we're gonna get is she's still throwing out disses without saying no names, but saying she's not talking about him, but talking about what he talk about, but not talking about him when she talking about it. And he did the same thing. So we about to get into that. I'm about to roll the. I normally say not so beautiful bean footage, but this is I normally say not so beautiful bean footage, but this is some beautiful bean footage. This is some beautiful bean footage that I'm about to roll. So give me a second. Give me a second. All right. So we about to roll it. Terrell Bentley says, "Get them checks, BR. Go ahead and set up the future content covering beefs. Set up the future content covering beefs." I don't know what you mean by that, but if you mean because I did the surgical investigative journalism, and by that I mean watched Kevin Samuels' full video, and then and picked out the parts where he was responding to Nicki Minaj, because he hid his response. He hid his response in between callers on his Instagram live. He hid his response in between the callers on the Instagram live. I don't have a king, dude. I don't have a king, so don't come in here with that nonsense. I ain't gonna time him. I ain't gonna time you out. But he hid his responses in between the Instagram lives. Okay, that's where he hid his responses. So it ain't like he made a video. My response to Nicki Minaj. No, he did his regular show, but in between callers, he floated it out there. David makes a good point. He kind of did the same thing with Brittany Renner. He responded later, but he waited for her to say something else, and then he responded to it much later. That is true. He did respond to it much later. Everybody who has something to say about him, he kind of just floats it out there. He either bury it into like a part of his monologue, or in between callers, he'll just float out a quick response. He gets it out there. There's no doubt about that. He gets his response out there. But you are absolutely right. He did something similar with Brittany Renner, but that was after she said something else later. So he will do that. If somebody has a major platform, he don't blow up the spot on them. He tries to have a respectful conversation, and later he'll give his thoughts on it. And I'm no big fan of doing it. I don't want him blowing up the spot everywhere he go. But I do want, a shout out to Jackie Jack. She said a Jordan Peterson level of pushback, where Jordan Peterson pushed back real strong, but never just completely, nothing out of pocket. And thank you, World Free. I do appreciate that with the people who said, I saw your video yesterday. Great edit work. More of that, BR. Absolutely, man. That's hard work doing that edit and that investigative journalism, as I called it. That's actually hard work. That's actually hard work. Taking somebody's video and picking apart the certain parts of it, editing those parts out, and then taking what somebody else said. Shout out to Media Controls and Reviews. I got it from him. And then taking what somebody else said and comparing and contrasting the two things that you edited out. Though that's actually, that's good content when you put it together like that. Paul Game, like that video yesterday was actually good. Like my other stuff is trash, but that one was actually good. I was shocked. It was good. I hear to sneak this. Yeah. That video yesterday was that one was actually good. Who knew? Nobody saw that coming. A good video from Bernard. Oh my goodness. What? I see the sneak. You sneak dissing like Nicki Minaj and Kevin Samuels. You sneak dissing harder than them, man. Come on now. God dang. But but all right, let's I'm about to go ahead and roll it. I'm about to go ahead and roll it. Let me get the headset on.
They're black men. I love you.
You can't say you love black men and then you want black men to shut up.
Get ready.
Oh, y'all don't need to hear my intro again. Yeah, I don't need to hear my intro again, and y'all don't need to hear me do my setup either. Y'all just need to hear what they saying. Even though I was in the had at the desk in the studio. Even though middle finger to whoever that was in the chat room that said I was looking like the Black Diaspora News Channel dude, Philip Scott. You can get a shovel and start digging until you see hell, and then just do a perfect swan dive into it. That's what you can do. Whoever said I look like Philip Scott from the African Diaspora News Network channel. Get a shovel, start digging until you see hell. Dive in. Don't do a swan dive. Cannonball. Go with a cannonball. Make a nice splash when you get on there. Make a nice splash. How about that? But all right, let's roll it.
But guess what? That 7.5 or that 9. And this is not about Kevin, because he actually was very respectful on the show.
Now keep in mind, as you said, did the whole thing. I mean, this is the backstory. I'm getting into the new stuff, but this is just a little bit of the backstory when I was setting up everything in the video. But yeah, she said, I'm not talking about Kevin, but then she described exactly what it is that he did.
I spoke to him. All you niggas that do that, y'all can take those ratings and shove it up your fucking assholes. Shove it good and hard and deep in your assholes.
Or you can stop.
Well, all right. So Kevin. Well, no, I'll let it play. I'll let it play.
And hard and deep in your assholes.
And just for the record, I think I had to bleep Nicki Minaj out like 27 times. I had to bleep out Kevin 3 times, just if you're keeping score at home.
Or you can stop.
Well, Kevin Samuels essentially did the same thing. He did a live stream on Instagram. He went on Instagram Live, and he started de facto responding to Nicki Minaj while affirming that he's not talking about Nicki Minaj.
Okay, let's be clear. This smoke show is not about Nicki Minaj. I have my schedule to do. I've heard about her video that she sat down with Brother Joe Budden. But I need you guys to understand that I don't make my content in reaction to a lot of stuff that you guys watch. I got a content strategy. I got stuff I'm talking about.
Hashtag content strategy. I don't know if I started that. Everybody calling out a content strategy. I don't know if I could take full credit for that, but everybody be saying content strategy, ninja. But I think I started that. I think I started that, calling out, everybody content strategy. Even bringing up Saint in the Center again, going back to even when he was he had went at O'Shea. I was calling it. I was using the term content strategy back then. I've been driving the point home about when somebody is doing something like, dang, he's kind of clowning. This person going at this person is going at that person. I've been calling it out, content strategy. But anyway. But long story short, okay, the most important part to take note of what he said right there. He said he's not talking about Nicki Minaj, but he acknowledged that he saw the Nicki Minaj discussion with Joe Budden. So he's acknowledging that he saw it. which adds more, which deflates the notion that that's not what he's talking about when he's saying things that is a direct response to it. But let's get into it.
And
They're black men. I love you.
You can't say you love black men and then you want black men to shut up.
That they can comment on women's bodies and keep saying what we like and what they don't like. Who are you? It's ain't about you.
Because that's
and what they don't like.
Listen to this. Listen to this. Who are you?
Who are you? It's ain't about you.
Because there seems to be a frame of mind that's like, who the hell are y'all to be talking about this? Who are you? Why are y'all doing?
It's like he's repeating her directly. He's repeating her directly right there. All right. Now, again, somebody says stay on code, please. I have a code and I do stay on the code. Listen, you ain't never seen me just go on some outright, just coming for Kevin Samuels' throat like some people. You'll never see me do that. What Kevin Samuels has done is far, far more good than what it is harm. Far more good than any harm anybody could try to squeeze out of it. Like, no, like, come on, cut it out. You don't have to say stuff like that to me. This ain't a Kevin Samuels diss track. I am presenting the information and putting it out there that he did respond to Nicki Minaj. People can do with it whatever they want to do with it. But I am putting it out there. I am putting it out there that, yeah, he did respond. He did respond. People can do with it what they want to do. Like, I rock with Kevin Samuels. All right. Let me just say this real quick. What Kevin Samuels has done, all right, what he has done, what I described as he infiltrated Vagina Vision Media. That's the Tom Lakis term that Obsidian adopted, called it Black Vagina Vision Media. Basically, that whole media machine, the whole media apparatus where men are depicted as the bad guys, men are depicted as the bad guys, as the villains, women depicted as the good guys or the heroes. We're Joker, they're Batman. That's how it has been. People, who are what would be considered red pill or just a man in the know, understand it doesn't exactly play out like that. Yes, it's some guys that are horrible, but reality in real time, and it's even data to back up the things that we've said. Actually, Kevin Samuels' show last night, he was pointing out, it might have been Obsidian who originally brought the data to the sphere, but he was essentially pointing out that women can't say nothing about men cheating. I think like 28% in marriages, 28% of men cheat, 24% of women cheat. It's getting closer and closer and closer. And if you even adjust it and play around with it by age, the younger women cheat more. So as the older ones die out, we will be living in a population real soon where the younger ones, where women are cheating more than men. But we're the villains. We've presented all the data that shows that in relationships they're more violent. We've broken all of that down. Nobody was hearing it except in this small pocket on the internet where men actually talk and think. What Kevin Samuels did by figuring out a way to try to basically take over a major stronghold and able to put all the ideas, facts, stats, data, and information out there from a man's perspective, but figured out how to spin it in a way to where the women actually pull up and want to hear it because they think they're coming up to learn how to get some high value man, but then they sit down and talk to him, they find out they don't qualify for it, but he gives them a real discussion about where they're really at, what's really going on, what men are really thinking, and what everything is really about. He does a good job of that. You can nitpick some details. That you don't like. There's some details that I don't like. I said it a year and a half ago. That be ready to get engaged after 6 months. Nah, that's some nonsense. I said that a year and a half ago and still stand on that. I didn't just now start saying it. I said that a year and a half ago. You know, if it take like a year and a half ago, I said if it take 5 years for a man to solidify himself, 5 years of making 100K a year for him to solidify himself as a high value man, it's going to take a woman about the same 5 years of good consistent behavior to solidify herself as who she is in my life. So so there's that. I said that a year and a half ago, and I will stand on that forever. I don't care. It's going to take it takes time. I need to see consistency over time. But so again, that's so that you can nitpick the details. You can nitpick the details when it comes to Kevin Samuels, but the larger, bigger picture of what he did, and how he broke through, and now he has the whole world reacting to him, responding to him, and now so many channels is propped up all over the place where they're having a conversation, not exactly like we have it around these parts, but very similar. They're having it in a very similar way. The whole conversation is changed forever. Like, well, maybe not forever. Who knows? It may go back. But the conversation is different now. And he changed that. And he forever and always needs credit for that. That he figured out how to break through, I hate to talk like women, but he broke that glass ceiling. Like he got through there. He got through there and put a lot of the ideas of the sphere on a world stage. He figured out how to do it. So for that, he will always have my support. I don't care what nobody say, man bag and all. He got my support for doing that right there. Just flat out. He got my support. So no, this ain't I ain't like I mean, remember when me and Obsidian was talking, Obsidian was saying what Kevin Samuels done. He said, yeah, the gender war is over. It's won. I said, no, if this was Star Wars, what he did is equivalent as in A New Hope, Luke Skywalker blowing up the Death Star. He came through, he blew up the Death Star. He flat out. That he flat out did that. But the next movie was The Empire Strikes Back. That was the next movie. And if Nicki Minaj got some serious smoke for the manosphere, and somebody with a platform that big and that much fame and that much pull lead a serious campaign against it, yeah, that would be the Empire striking back for real. Channels will be gone. like for real. I told y'all how, what's the name? The one chick, told her, did the screenshot telling her followers exactly what to do, had a little red line, click right here, flag right here, click this button here, to flag it for this reason, click this, and then click send. She shared on her community tab for all 300,000 of her subs to do that to Fresh and Fit. Like literally told them exactly what to do, how to do, when to do it, to make sure that flag hit YouTube, thousands strong, all at the same time, all flagging the exact same thing. What happens when somebody like Nicki Minaj do that? So that's why I'm like, we can't never rest. We ain't never safe. We ain't never safe. It's never just okay to put our feet up, in my opinion. Like no, it's we always, all right, let me get back to the video. But somebody who said stay on code for Kevin Samuels, I legit rock with Kevin Samuels. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Yes, Fresh and Fit did. Yes, that is a true statement. Truth be told, that's why I, respect what Fresh and Fit is doing too.
Doing this.
All right, let me back up because I went on too much of a ramble.
Comment on women's body.
You want black men to shut up.
That they can comment on women's bodies and keep saying what we like and what they don't like. Who are you? It's ain't about you.
Because there seems to be a frame of mind that's like, who the hell are y'all to be talking about this? Who are you? Why are y'all doing this? Are y'all that fragile to where y'all can't take anything? Oh, I get it. You only want us to do what you want us to do. You want us to do what you want us to do. I asked the question earlier. When women say, I love black men, But then you turn around and you roast black men and tear them apart for actually speaking their minds. Hello.
Like, I don't ever want a man to come back on this fucking internet and talk about some fucking lace from who the fuck y'all think y'all talking to?
Ladies, the hair conversation, often you hear women say, keep your mouth off our hair. Bullshit. If it's on your body, we're going to talk about it because you belong to me. The kids belong to you. I belong to God. We report up. There is nothing that is on or around a woman that is not a man's business. If you got a problem with that, deal with your creator. Don't make it black men's problem because we got the nerve to say something about the women that share our reflection.
All right. Couple things there. There's a religious aspect of what he said, the religious aspect of it. And I'm, I know I don't go all the way like there with the religious thing, but just as far as a man being able to comment on a woman's body, if it's on you, if it's on your body, we can comment on it. It's like, yeah, that should be obvious. That should be obvious that men should have obvious taste and preferences, but they're on. Cut it out, Dry. Cut it out. Cut it out. I was about to get. I was about to get into that. I was about to get it. Now, look, give me a minute. I'm trying to unpack everything you said bit by bit. You're throwing me off. You're throwing me off. So now I gotta just skip right ahead to the yeah. Yeah. He was amped up and going in. All a lot of intensity. Where was it? But over no, you good. See, this is where y'all tripping. Y'all saying he down bad. He ain't down bad. He had 12,000 people in his live chat. That ain't down bad. If that's down bad, I want to get down. I want to get down where he at. I can't wait to get down that bad. I can't wait to get down as bad as Kevin Samuels someday. But overall, yeah, that's the catch-22 with floating out a response. That is the catch-22 with floating out a response. It's too late. It is too late. That's why I put it in the title. Is this response too little, too late? I always have a better late than never philosophy when it comes to this kind of stuff. I do have a better late than never philosophy, but it is it is too late. It is too late. It was like the taking a knee, not bending the knee, because that's a different thing. Some people think he bent a knee. I think he took a knee. I make football references here, not Game of Thrones references, football references. You take a knee in football, that means you just opted not to run a play. You could have ran a play, you chose not to run a play. You could have ran a play, but for whatever reason, you decided it's too risky to run a risky play right before the end of the half. I'm just going to take a knee and run out the clock and come out with a game plan in the second half. That's how I described that first interview. He decided not to run a play. He decided not to run a play. But yeah. You should get blocked for that name alone, but that's funny, rapping been the knee Jon Snow. But yeah, he was going in. He was going in. And look, to be fair, he did his regular content. He just floated out the quick indirect responses to Nicki Minaj in the middle of his regular content. He did float it out there. And generally, he was right about everything he said. I'm gonna play some more of it, and y'all gonna hear how right he was. It's just a simple fact that, damn, he's right because we're right. The people in this space, the men who, go online and make the points that we make, we are generally right. We are generally accurate in our assessment and the things that we say. So the fact of the matter is, he's going to be right about everything he was saying. It's just the simple fact that it wasn't said when it could have been said. Wasn't said when it could have been said, and that's something that's interesting too. Leo Lyon says, I expect her to respond. I hope she don't respond like she did the last time, where she responds indirectly. If she does respond to him, I hope it's a direct response, mentioning him by name, and this is what she's saying to him, or she actually gets him on her platform. I actually want to see that happen, or she come on his platform, or they get together, they meet up, they do their thing, they had a conversation. I want to see that happen in a planned way. And the beauty of that, when it does happen, and shout out to the other two gentlemen who super chatted. The beauty of that, I'm about to read y'all super chats real soon. The beauty of that is when it does happen, because she won't be able to do the thing, where like she did in the first conversation with him, where she said, I don't know the context. I just saw some clips. I don't know the exact context of those clips. She won't be able to say that, because by then, if they do a planned, structured, sit down interview, she would have had her team do all the research, get all the context. So now she could say something to him. And if he don't say what he would normally say, she could say, oh, well, wait a minute, you said this before, and properly reference the clip in the context. And then he would have to stand, he would either have to completely, back away, completely bend the knee, or stand on it. And she wouldn't be able to say, oh, well, I didn't know the context. He wouldn't be able to talk around it. They would be in a situation where they would be forced to confront the disagreement. They would be forced to confront the disagreement in that situation. It would, but I'm just simply pointing out that it would be impossible to play it safe in a second interview. If they do a second interview that's planned, it would be impossible to play it safe, to where he would have to come in locked and loaded, ready for war. That would be all to it. So that's why I want to see that happen. That's why I do want to see that happen. He said, I'm trying to manufacture. Yes, I'm trying to conjure it up. I'm trying to conjure it up. Hold on. See, he didn't flip-flop on nothing that he said. He just didn't say. He didn't. She didn't ask him a question, and then he gave an answer that he don't believe. He just, it's almost like, you could say it was like I guess I suppose you could say, what do they call that? A withholding information, live commission. Maybe you could say that. Maybe you could say that. He didn't say nothing that he didn't believe. He just didn't give the firm answer that puts pressure on her. That's what he didn't. That's what you can more accurately say. I didn't see him flip-flop on nothing. See, a lot of people be making it seem like after the Nicki Minaj interview, he went back to his channel and then just start playing nice and playing safe and doing Derek Jackson, Steve Harvey content. No. He's still doing his same content. He's still doing his same thing. He just didn't do it with Nicki. That's just all to it. Space Hopper is back. He says, I respect KS. He sees the bigger picture, and long term, most dudes would be canceled already because they would have went on attack too hastily. Don't gotta go on attack too hastily just to give pushback. You can give pushback without being on overly attack mode. You can do that. Jordan Peterson has been right in the line of fire with some staunch down feminists who was saying some crazy stuff. He just broke her down on the merits of the points. That's literally the play that Kevin Samuels need to run if he get back in the ring with someone back in the ring. Yeah, I'll say it. Back in the ring with somebody that big again. The story to tell in the building says, excellent editing. Kevin sent that spanking back by to them with a white dove carrier pitch. Yeah. He did. He did. But too little, too late. Where was all that intensity? No, just playing. But a perfect storm in the building says KS went full mode on Nicki. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean by that. Yeah, a raven from Game of Thrones. That's how they sent the message on a damn raven. He sent it on a raven. It's crazy. I see somebody saying Fresh and Fit clap back hard and immediate, and they still here. Fresh and Fit plays with far infinitely more fire than Kevin Samuels, and they probably will. I'm hoping that they don't, but they probably will end up facing some penalty. They probably will end up getting canceled in some way, shape, or form. Even though they got a strong enough following, they could just sprout back up anywhere. They gonna be solid, but they may potentially lose that channel on YouTube. Kevin Samuels is tightrope walking that fine line, that delicate balance, and this was the response I said to freaking Jamil Hill, not Jamila, Jamil. She has a man name, Jamil Hill. When she was saying, why aren't there any channels that belittle, degrade, or why there are so many channels that belittle, degrade, and put down that put down men, or put down, why there's so many channels that belittle, degrade, demean, and gaslight women, particularly black women. And she said black women aren't using their platforms to do the same thing. I obviously pointed out so many of them that do what she was describing, but see, the fact of the matter is this: Kevin Samuels is the biggest channel that gets accused of doing that, demeaning and putting down black women. He gets accused of that. I don't think he do, but he gets accused of that. You can't demean somebody if you're saying that somebody should marry him in 6 months and propose to him in 6 months. But anyway, here's the deal. He is the person who has the biggest platform doing what Jamil Hill described, but per her interpretation, has to walk on eggshells. He can go hard on his channel, but he got to be real careful about what he say in certain places and certain venues. Maybe he don't have to do that, but he is doing that. He's walking that delicate balance. He's doing that delicate tightrope walk. Now, maybe he has to do that. Maybe I don't think he does. But as far as longevity, I think he has a better longevity plan than Fresh and Fit. So I don't know if it's a good argument to say Fresh and Fit did this, Fresh and Fit did that. They still here. I think Kevin Samuels has more has a better long-term longevity plan. I'm not saying he's done everything right. What I'm saying is comparing it to Fresh and Fit, even though they stood in it. They stood in it, and I give them their props for that. But they constantly running that risk of not being, not being here with us. But before the billions in the building says salute. Shout out to before the billions, But getting back into it, look, the title is the title. This was late. I say better late than never. But yeah, the title is the title. Too little, too late. The impact isn't there, but it's still nice to just look at it, edit it up the way that I did the editing, and the way that I did the editing, and see more or less what his response should have been. that's more or less what's going on here. You're right, as long as he keep flip-flopping. All right, dude. If you're gonna say flip-flopping, you got to explain exactly what he flip-flopped on. Explain exactly what he flip-flopped on.
You got the nerve to say something about the women that share our reflections.
And to the men that get on and laugh about black women because you mad because some black girl broke your fucking ugly ass heart, like the podcast clown, the podcast clown. I wish the fuck you would have tried that with me, bitch. I wish the fuck you would.
Shut up.
Okay, let me make that was probably some bad editing. because he didn't exactly tell her to shut up. He was just saying that's all she's essentially telling men to do. She was really talking to Fresh and Fit right there, but he's basically making an argument that we've made on this show a lot of times, that basically the counter argument to a lot of the things that we say is, I don't like what you're saying, so just shut up. Could you stop saying it? That's essentially what he's doing right there. I didn't want it to come off like he was being more hardcore than what he was. Like, no, he wasn't telling her shut up. That's where the editing could be, deceptive. But he was just basically, I explained it.
I wish the fuck you would.
Shut up. Shut up. I don't like that you say this. Stop saying things. Let women say whatever they want to, however they want to, and you just be a good boy. This is a real problem. That's the real problem, especially in our community. Black men, we are supposed to be second-class citizens. We're supposed to listen to mama, auntie, cousin, nene. We're supposed to do what they tell us to do. We're supposed to shut up and fall in line. Sorry. The kind of men that are going to be required to build the Black community are the kind of men you're going to have to learn how to contend with. And if you can't contend with a man, then get with your girlfriend or get with the beta dudes, get with the little baby boys you raised, and move on. Hey, no heat, no judgment.
This is not embarrassed Black woman season.
Shout out to Space Hopper is back. He says KS gonna go viral again for last night's stream. Michelle Obama and Gab Union fans about to go crazy. Shade Room about to be mad. I think I heard a little bit of that. I think he talked about Michelle Obama not playing her proper role as first lady. I said something about her being on, doing push-ups on Ellen. I don't, whatever. But what did he say about? Oh, he said something about Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade's son. I don't think he said nothing that bad that's gonna make him go viral on Shade Room. At least I don't think. What the hell? He says, I think Bernard should just ask KS out on a date. If a nigga show you slip, don't trust him. What the hell? I don't even understand the if he show you slip. What does slip mean? Do anybody know what that means? If he show you slip. I gotta just get you out of here saying stupid stuff. Now, you just timed out. You're not blocked. You just timed out, not blocked. Y'all talking about my editing. That part of it, I'm not proud of the editing because it edited in. It wasn't after I was done where I looked at it. It's not like you were telling her to shut up. Creation Muse says, it's difficult to argue with someone that is intelligent, but almost impossible to argue with someone that is ignorant. A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his/her with all caps opinions. 304. I don't read emoji very well, but thank you for the $20 super chat. Do appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate it. You said Rod said I did KS a favor with that edit though. No cap. I thought he went harder than he did. No. He wasn't telling her to shut up. He was saying that she was saying shut up, which that is essentially what she's saying. Who y'all think y'all talking to? Who do you think you are? Who are you to say this? That's basically what she's saying. She's just basically telling men to shut up. And you're going to get further into that. You're going to get further into that.
That's not what this is. What the fuck y'all think y'all talking to or about? Eat a dick. Anyway, so Joe, I'm
nothing remotely feminine. And this is why you're starting to see so many women who are trying to overcome their lack of femininity with feminine adornments. Look at how many masculine women wear long weaves.
It's non-negotiable. He cooking the hell out of her on this one. Like, damn. Oh, this would have been so good. So good live in real time. This would have been so good live in real time. Oh man. I'm sitting here rooting for it. I'm hoping she either see this or she catch wind of some of the things he said on that stream. I'm hoping they meet up. I'm hoping they get together. I'm hoping it all happen. I'm rooting for some fireworks at this point.
And to overcome their lack of femininity with feminine adornments. Look at how many masculine women wear long weaves, long braids, long fingernails, walk around with face beat like glamour shots. They are trying to put on the face of femininity. And I have a little theory. Look at the average modern woman's level of glamour and then deduct from her level of femininity. If she's higher up in glamour, the chances are she's much lower in femininity, because truly feminine women tend to be more natural. They don't have to try to look like a woman. I want you to think of how many times you see women with these long weaves and long this and long that, and it's just excessive. I'm not saying extensions. I'm not saying, moderation. I'm talking about excessive. And then quick to snap, quick to go. It's like,
eat a dick.
And then quick to snap, quick to go. It's like, whoa. 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 So, ladies, don't get mad that men are waking up. That's what the real issue is. My platform and platforms like mine are places where men can come and talk.
Now, this part, well, one, he killed it on that, how it'd be some of the most masculine chicks that trying to use feminine adornments to basically hide and cover up the masculine, but they overdo it to the point where they got on all these feminine adornments and accessories and everything, but they still snapping and barking and cussing like a man. Like that. That's a really good point. But this part right here, this is the part where he essentially acknowledges that that he obviously understands that she's responding to, that she was talking about a plurality of male platforms and content creators who do this kind of content, because that's really what she was doing. That's why I did the stream called Nicki Minaj Has Smoke for the Manosphere, which I do believe that she do. That's something that we may need to keep an eye on if she makes it a point to mention male content creators on a regular basis when she does interviews. So he's he's responding to that part right here.
Don't get mad that men are waking up. That's what the real issue is. My platform and platforms like mine are places where men can come and talk. And men are speaking up, and they're mad because so many men are not waking up. So many women are discovering that the men to the right and to the left of them, they've been woke all along. They just didn't know that what the men were thinking. Now they know what men are thinking. That's why women are so mad. Like, well, why do men do X, Y, and Z? Why do men rank women? Men have been ranking women before I came around. The movie 10 with Bo Derek, men instinctively rank things. We rank ourselves. And women, you don't want any criticism. You want us, we're going to rank you.
You shouldn't tell women what you think their rating is.
We're going to rank you, and any man that sits around and says you shouldn't be doing that.
I made noise on that part. Let me back up.
We're going to rank you.
You shouldn't tell women what you think their rating is.
We're going to rank you, and any man that sits around and says you shouldn't be doing that, that motherfucker's a pander bear. He's pandering to you. Women, you got men pandering to you. Yeah, they shouldn't be ranking ladies, and they shouldn't be doing that. A lot of these men tend to be some of the most toxic, egregious motherfuckers themselves. I'm sitting there looking at these men talking, telling these women, yeah, they should be ranking. Y'all cheating on women, beating women's ass like hotcakes. Got babies everywhere. Have horrible track records. Women talk about what men should and should not be doing. Y'all want to measure track records?
Now he didn't spend the whole show
right
talking. But yeah, so all right, that wraps up pretty much his response. Like even responding directly to Joe Budden. So one thing is clear: it's undeniable that he was responding to the Nicki Minaj and Joe Budden interviews. It's like I said, it's nice to hear what his response would have been to some of the stuff that she said. Some of the stuff she didn't say exactly like how she said it in the Joe Budden interview. She said some sort of different, sort of specific things when she was talking to him directly. But most of what he said, most of what was put out there, I mean, most of what she said was at least correlated right in line with pretty much what he responded to here. So it's nice to see in a glimpse what the conversation would have been or could have been had he pursued it in that way. It's nice to see in a glimpse what the conversation would have been and could have been. But like the title says, it's too little too late. He floated in the response, hit it in between callers, and hit it in between like every other caller on an Instagram live. And so it's like, it's no impact. There's no weight to it. I just wanted to edit it all out, put it all out there and throw it out there for people to just hear it and do what they want to do with it and instigate a meeting between the two of them. E. Capone in the building says, I got 5 on the BI. Absolute. Thank you very much. You know what? I don't even be playing my drops no more, but I always play when E. Capone dropped that. I got 5 on it. Shout out to the Ride of God podcast. We got to get the drops back in this show. Dropping 20 on it. Shout out to Ride of God. He says, consistently excellent content. Thank you very much. I actually put a lot of work into that editing. I appreciate all of y'all. Y'all see, y'all ain't letting go. he said she was a 9, but again, I don't even feel like rehashing that. But the 9 is based off how you look, not how you act. He based it off appearance, but based off previous ratings, the 9 did seem a little high. I said he's using some image consultant science, some facial symmetry image consultant science to come up with that 9. But but overall, but you know, I mean, Nicki's she's obviously attractive, but it's really hard to tell with women nowadays. It's hard to tell. You know, you might find a picture of them fresh face out the shower, and you normally are unimpressed when you do that. You're normally unimpressed when you see that. But overall, her all dressed up, did up, adorned up, and looking her best. She's a very attractive woman. She's a very attractive woman, fully did up, by the same standard. Like I said, this is old hat at this point. By the same standard that he said, Beyonce is a 8. Yeah, I think Nicki would fall into that as well. But whatever on that. I see somebody said, who's that said I missed a super chat? I got E. Capone's. I got Clue Channel in the building. There you go. He says, if you're not editing with Adobe Premiere, you ain't black. Nope. I use something called Video Pad. That's what I use to do my editing. And I'm getting halfway decent at it. Not enough. I want to make a new intro, but I'm not skilled enough as an editor to handle a job like that. Not skilled enough as an editor to handle a job like that. So but I do want to get on that level. But the link is in the chat for anyone who wants to join the show. But we've been joined by Obsidian, who did a surprise morning stream on us today. I pushed my show back. I pushed it back. I went on and said I'd do an afternoon show. But welcome to the show, Obsidian. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, Bernard?
Hey, another day at the office. Milking out this Kevin Samuels Nicki Minaj thing.
Yeah.
got my video my pre-record that I did last night. Hey, that thing is closing in. It's closing in on 18,000 views when I look at the analytics. So it's going semi-viral for me. Figured I'd ride the train a little longer. Well,
that's
with the live
the
stream.
That's the way to do it.
But real quick before we hand it to you, Theo Waff in the building. He says Nicki is low class, thus she only qualifies for Pookies. Kevin was a gracious professional and gave her a 9 when she didn't deserve it. She is an example of delusional modern women. Thank you for that. Do appreciate that.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, first to get started on everything, because I see that quite a few of our brothers are they disagree with Kevin's number assessment of Miss Minaj. I'll say this. I am not in a position to give any type of number one way or another. I'm not good at that. And I defer to someone's judgment who has made his daily bread for years doing it. I would defer to somebody, just like somebody coming to me and asking me to fix high-end jet plane equipment. I'm not a jet plane mechanic, so I don't have any skill in that regard. So do I think she's attractive? Yep, I do. But asking me to put a particular number on it, I don't know, man. I can't, But anyway, going back for the tape that he did, well, I thought it was masterful. I think that first of all, the question I have is, who is he speaking about with the panda bears?
Oh, you mustn't. Well, it was clearly Joe Button. Well, hold on. I can explain. I can just pull this right. Oh, hold on, because it's like right around the corner. Hold on, right around the corner from it. Let's see.
We're going to rank you.
You shouldn't tell women what you think their rating is.
We're going to rank you, and any man that sits around and says you shouldn't be doing that, that motherfucker's a panda bear. He's pandering to you.
There it is. He's talking to Joe Button.
I think that's the better conversation here. And I think that we brothers on various sides of the aisle on this, we're the ones that need to get together and hash it out. I think, and Kevin has actually sat down with Joe Button. We all know that.
You know what? At the time when I was editing this, I forgot that the two of them have actually sat down and more or less done business together. So that was a shot. That's somebody that he worked with before.
But they didn't explicitly discuss what we're talking about right now.
That's true.
So again, my position is I would love for all of us, but I mean, we're all in the same room now. That is to say, quote unquote, panda bears and brothers on the other side of the aisle. Why don't we just sit down and hash it out in real time?
Well, we do as much as we can when they hop on. Okay, we'll put it like this: the biggest names or loudest voices in the room when it comes to the panda bears. I don't even know if loudest voices in the room is the right thing, but Derek Jackson was the king chief. I think Kevin Samuels came up with the term panda bear because of Derek Jackson. He's like the king chief, alpha panda bear. But that's the thing. But so Derek Jackson ain't sitting down talking with nobody. So there's that. But
isn't that part of the problem?
I
mean, there's this major press on, and I'm speaking to the brothers here because I to be fair, I'm not. That's not, the ladies isn't my forte, at least not yet. I'm talking about the brothers. The brothers want to see Kevin and Nicki go head to head. I get that. But it seems interesting to me that there's little to no interest in brothers wanting to see Kevin work it out with all these other brothers here, these other panda bears.
I kind of disagree with that. I think that, for example, when DJ Envy said some stuff about Kevin Samuels, a lot of brothers did some reaction videos to that. A lot of people have called out, simps and panda bears, quite often they get, but so no, I don't necessarily agree with that. It's just Nicki Minaj is the most recent, most famous edition of it. And she does, and she does represent,
Right. Well,
represent
if men are leaders, so here's the thing with me. If men are leaders in the black community, right? And men set the tone and set the rules by which everyone, men and women alike, operate in the black community, right? If that's true, if we accept that premise, then it would seem to me the place to start would be with other black men.
Yeah, no, I agree. But see, as far as people who are ideologically in line with the manosphere, who started making their channels as more of a pushback counter movement, a counterpunch, so to speak. Those aren't the ones who are not wanting these conversations to happen. It's typically the other side that does not want these conversations to happen.
Right.
So you're going back to ever since you started, 2017, 2015 actually, but your door has been open for them from the beginning. You've never closed that door. So all of our doors are open. It's just they don't want to have the conversation, especially when people like Kevin Samuels has gotten that big and shined a light, a bigger, broader light on how disingenuous and how weak a lot of their arguments are.
There's a brother in the chat room right now who's saying this. Victor, I think his name is. He says that that would be him being Kevin, going back to just talking to men, which he should do for a bit again, but with big names, simps, and pandas. Right, exactly. If again, it depends on what model do we want to see here. See, for me, if we agree that men are the leaders, black men are the leaders of the black community, and everything flows from that, then it would just make sense to me that you start with the brothers instead of starting with the sisters. That would be a secondary order of concern. Is the brothers?
Oh wait, hold on. Are you saying that don't? Okay, all right, here we go. Sound like you're saying that men ought not talk about women.
No, not what I said was that was a secondary level of concern. That was a second order level of concern.
Okay, that was a primary
order. The primary order level of concern. Again, if we agree that black men are the leaders and everything flows from them insofar as black American society is concerned. See, this is the tricky part. This is the tricky part for both black men and black women. If black men and black women agree that black men are the leaders and black women, to go to them for a moment, their major critique of us being black men, black manosphere in particular, is that you don't go and deal with other men. Okay, fair. That's a fair point. Then my position is, okay, Kevin and Joe need to sit down and work this out about this panda bear piece that he's doing, that seal clapping and all that. Yes, yeah, listen, man, that's out of pocket, bro.
Yeah, I think everybody 100% agrees that conversation is definitely needed right there for what Joe Budden is doing. But if you're talking about secondarily talking about women or addressing issues with women, then I mean that from my perspective, from where I'm sitting, that sort of goes against what the manosphere has always done. I mean, regardless of how you say it, how you spin it, how you twist it, no matter how we slice it, this space did get started of men speaking their mind when it came to issues with women, whether you're talking about the family court issues, the interpersonal relationship issues, or just the wide lens, as I always say, stepping back, looking at it from a macro lens, breaking things down from a sociological perspective, analyzing the social dynamics between black men and black women. That's what this space was built on. So when you say that, to some degree, aren't you trying to push aside something that this space was built on and that it has always done?
No, and a matter of fact, I'm glad you mentioned that, because now the black manosphere is no longer just something on YouTube, or to a lesser extent something on social media. Now it's something that's becoming real. And I mean the Black Manosphere meetup. I love the doctrine put in place by our good friend and brother Lil Big Nate, which was, we focus on black men first. I talked about this on my live early this morning. You probably heard it, Bernard. In business meetings about the Black Manosphere meetup, in my event, the Mumia Obsidian Ali experience, part of the Black Manosphere meetup, the question came up on the floor over lunch: whether black women will be involved. And my position was no. And I made my position clear over on my live this morning. But I have come to see that there's a place for women in it. But here's the trick: only after business hours. That is to say, while the conference is in effect, no black women.
Right, I agree with that.
After the conference is concluded, we're done for the day, and it's in the evening now, and we can socialize. Okay, that's fine for socialization. But black women actually being in the conference itself, black women actually putting in the inner workings of the conference, no.
Agreed.
Black men need to learn how to work things out among black men. Black men got to cut the apron strings, cut the umbilical cord, stop always turning to mama. Black men need to learn to work things out however we work it out, however we decide. And then black women, once we figured out how we're going to work it out, then black women get on board with it, however we work it out. That's black women's purpose. Once we figure out what we're going to do, then they can come on board, but not before. And a big part of the problem with black men is that every time we want to do something, black women got to be right in the thick of it. No. The Black Manosphere meetup is a good model. Black men focus on black men first. Then once business is concluded, then we can socialize with the ladies, not before. So I say all of that to you, Bernard, to say I'm just simply using that same model right now in this situation. We'll get to Nicki Minaj. First, we got to deal with Joe Budden.
Yeah, I don't see why both couldn't be dealt with. But overall, what you're saying in reality, okay, is what you're saying in reality, especially with the Manosphere meetup, that should be that I agree 100%. I agree 100% with everything you said about the Manosphere meetup. As far as content on YouTube, I think that is a different ball game. So I mean, but each individual can run their channel how they want to run their channel. But I think that is a different ball game. We're talking about content on YouTube.
Yeah, content on YouTube.
Well, real quick. Hold your thought. Kevin X in the building. He says, for bringing Janet J on your channel. Jant J? Jant J has never been on my channel. You talking about Jackie Jack? I don't know. Jant J is just
Jack,
somebody.
Jant J, they all look the same after a while, you know.
Yeah, okay. But shout out to you, Kevin X. I don't know what you're talking about though. I honestly don't. I appreciate the $20. I have no clue what you're talking about. Jant J is just a random person in the chat room who says crazy stuff. Coach Keith in the building. He says expecting an honest conversation between Nicki and Kevin is unrealistic. It may be some truth in that. I can't say that. I don't know. Because there's some theories, and I don't do the conspiracy theories, but somebody did float something out there in the comment section of the pre-recorded video that I made that, look, these people, they, because Kevin is up there on celebrity status, they talk to each other before they say stuff about each other, and everybody knows what's going on. And this, so sometimes, we could be, at the bottom looking up, overreacting to moving parts up there, and we don't know all the inner workings of it. That much is true. Kevin Samuels sort of alluded to that when he said, it's the saint in the center. He said people talk online, but he said when you meet somebody in person, 99.8% of the time, it's all cool and all smiles and handshakes. So, so to some degree, I think if they pre-plan a discussion with each other, it would be enough talking in advance to where it wouldn't end up being, the excitement that people expect. Like the Brittany Renner discussion was uneventful. a lot of those discussions, they end up they're not being very eventful because again, two people with major platforms who are, looking to protect something. But Nicki Minaj, her cussing and going off and snapping and popping and all of that's part of her brand. So she'll be comfortable doing that. But Kevin Samuels clapping back at her, and then she having to clap back, and then a blow up happening. They don't want that to happen. So if they planned a structured meeting, I think it would be probably too structured. All the questions would be, in advance, and I don't know. That's just one thought on it. That it's kind of pie in the sky to think that you're going to see a real good actual, live discussion where really good points are being, made back and forth. But I don't know. But he says they wouldn't allow one another to speak. It would be a shout over. Nah, I don't think so. If she got triggered and she went full, performance mode, then yes, maybe. But Victor Carter in the building says that would be him going back to just talking to men, which he should do for a bit again, but with big name. Okay,
yeah, that's
with big
what I
name
read
since
earlier,
in
yeah.
pandas. Okay, yeah, I see. Shout out to you, Victor Carter. Yeah, and listen, I would like that. I would like that. Somebody had made the real good point when Kevin Samuels was meeting with Brittany Renner. I think it was Grown Man Business who pointed out, where's the sit down discussion with PJ Washington? That would have been a problem. That would have been a better discussion.
Fair point.
That would have been a better discussion. So from that standpoint, yeah, I do think something need to be said there. There's a lot of major movers. Well, I don't know if movers and shakers, but people who have phased a certain amount of influence in the whole black celebrity world who will get on TV, get on camera, and say some stupid stuff or be like Joe Budden sitting there clapping when
Oh, you mean doing the seal clap? Yeah.
So yeah, if Kevin Samuels could talk to those guys, that'd be great too. That'd be great. Yeah, I'm with that part of it. But Obsidian, I'm holding the line, just to be clear. if whether it's women in media, if it's trending, if it's going on, if it's happening, if the if the fuckery pokes his head out, especially if it's poking his head out to speak against men having their platforms, yeah, I'm down to respond. I'm down to refute bad arguments. That's sort of what prompted me to even start my channel, when I was hearing just so many people saying so much stupid stuff back in 2017, 2018, and I just started Googling and searching some stuff, and that's how I eventually found you. And I posted my first pre-recorded video back in 2018, close to around the time that I found you, and it was responding to some nonsense that Derek Jackson was saying, and that's sort of how I stumbled into you, and really, because you did a whole review on one of his books and did an hour and a half pre-recorded podcast on it.
Absolutely.
I was like, whoa, I thought I was doing something, just reacting to a video. This was unheard of at the time. People going on YouTube and doing multi-hour long podcasts. You did a multi-hour long pre-recorded podcast review of one of Derek Jackson's books. I was like, damn, this dude is thorough. He out here with it. But I could see that, okay, somebody is seeing the same thing I was seeing. Then eventually I found out it was a whole network of men who were seeing the same thing that I was seeing. And I don't think it's ever a good time to metaphorically remove foot from neck and give other people's bad ideas that they put out there an opportunity to sprout up more. I like that. A lot of people with our ideas, our views, our perspective is that's what's winning the conversation right now.
Yeah,
I like that, and I want to keep it like that.
That's a great point. I definitely think that there's a place in the black manosphere within it for people like yourself who kind of watchmen of sort. They kind of monitor the what is considered to be propagandistic type of I guess you could say anti-black male / black manosphere talking points, positions, so forth, and kind of counter strike. I think there's definitely a place for that. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And for the guys out there saying that I'm obsessed with Derek Jackson, I have a question with you. For the bulls who say that, because there's been a lot of black men who have kind of knocked me for that over the years. What do you say about Derek Jackson's repeated infidelity? Are you okay with that? That doesn't bother you? A man that cheats on his own wife in their own marital bed?
To be fair, you was on his head long before you knew for a fact he was doing it. You probably suspected.
Exactly.
But
That's the reason why I'm saying today, right now. I mean, you can go ahead. I mean, because if it doesn't bother you, then maybe the problem ain't me or even Derek. Maybe the problem is you. If again we're talking about the community.
Yeah, for me, it was just seeing it was just hearing nonsense on my Facebook timeline. that's what did it for me. I was just scrolling down Facebook and everybody was sharing his stuff, and I would stop and listen and be like, whoa. And it was like no pushback. It was like everybody was in agree, just straight facts, 100 emojis all over the place. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like, by the way, I'm not trying to change the subject or derail the conversation.
Oh, no, you're okay.
I'm just
no,
responding to what a brother said in the chat room since we're on the topic. And I'm just asking the question. I mean, I care about it because my thinking is this. Do we have a interest in the larger body politic or not? Now, if we all agree that we don't, all right, great. We all go home and we do what we do and, you know, let the Lord of the Flies ensue.
What do you mean, Lord? Hold on. What do you mean, larger body politics? And what do you mean by Lord of the Flies?
Well, what I mean by that is if the argument is about community, I hear that a lot in Black American parlance, giving back to the community, the Black community this, the Black community that. Okay. So if the argument is that we do care about a Black community, then that means that we all have an interest in the overall health of that community. If we have bad actors in that community, in this case, in no ways limited just to, but if we have Black men who are bad actors in their mateships and families, and it spills out into the larger community, which has happened in the case of Derek Jackson. It wasn't just an in-house thing. Then if we ramp that up and scale that up, what are we saying? We pretty soon have a community that's pretty jacked up.
You're saying if we, I'm sorry, I must have missed your point. And I apologize. I was reading and looking at stuff, but just run it by me again. I'm sorry.
Yeah. If we care about a Black community,
okay.
If that's the argument, I hear a lot of Black folks online and off talking about a Black community, right? Mm-hmm. Then what behaviors are okay and which behaviors are not okay in the Black community?
Okay, I'm listening.
Right. I mean, that's the open question. What behaviors are and are not okay? So is cheating on your wife okay? All right. Is defrauding others okay? All right. Is finessing somebody okay? There's another form of defrauding. Finessing somebody okay? All right. I mean, we can go right on down the line with the various behaviors that are okay or not okay. And that will have an impact on the community as a whole. So I'm just trying to find out what the line is here. Same thing with this situation with Kevin, Nicki Minaj, and we can make a case for Joe Budden. Are we saying that Black men are the leaders? And if so, then why are we going directly to Black women first instead of straightening out other Black men first? So which one is it?
Okay, again, you're going back to You're going back to talking to the point that I made, where you're basically saying, let's uproot, undermine, undercut the whole reason that this space even existed. It was connected to men coming to speak their mind as it pertains to women. What you're talking about doing is something that also can get done, and I think the Manosphere meetup and all the potential for it going forward. I mean, shout out to Lil Big Nate. He did a really good stream on it where he was like, the end goal of it is to basically create like a Black old boys network. Like
Pretty much.
like what? Yeah, that's pretty much the end goal
Pretty
of
much,
it.
yeah.
That's what
And
it's
in order
gonna.
to do that, you have to deal with,
And
you have to deal with other black men in order to do that.
exactly, and that's why the focus is on black men. That's why women aren't allowed. That's what we do.
Right.
So I always, going back to what I said, the real business gets handled behind the scenes like that. Far as what we do on our YouTube channels, that's what is it? I'm forgetting the term. The dealer's choice, so to speak, on that. You know, if you want to go that route, you know, is you're definitely fine to go that route. But I'm not in the business of telling. Listen, it's people in this space that are going routes that I completely disagree with, and I'm sitting there like, what the hell are they doing? But all right, cool. They want to go that route, they can go that route.
Well,
If I deem that route that they're going is too problematic, they just can't do it over here. But the fact of the matter is, I can't control what other people do on their channel.
Right. So, I'm not asking the people. I'm not asking for people to change their content on their channels. Okay. I'm asking a question about community, and it does apply to this situation with Kevin Samuels and Nicki Minaj, because the question is a community question. Do black men have a right to have input on what black women do or not? Now, if the answer from the ladies is no, then what does the black community look like then?
Right.
That's a real question. And since there have been questions on the floor, a brother by the name of Long Happy Life is saying you want to see black women dead lying in a pool of their own blood, okay, Obsidian? Yes. And I'll tell you why.
I didn't
when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. If you get into your car and go on the highway and drive at 90 miles an hour, and suddenly now you have to stop and you can't, what happens? Because the inertia is carrying you now. You just can't stop on a dime. Actions have consequences. When you get with dark triad men, when you get with men that are violent, you reap the rewards of violent dark triad men. Solution: don't get with dark triad violent men. That's the solution. Don't do that. If you choose to play with fire, at some point you're going to get burned. Black women need to be told that. That's my point. It's very simple. I am not here to save black women from themselves. That is not my job. I was not put on this earth to go around saving black women from their own dumbass decisions. They need to grow up, be adults, and act accordingly. Stop getting with dangerous men. If you do, you have no one to blame but yourself.
Can you hear me?
All right. Yes. Yeah. Well, I was hearing check mic check. Okay, the background noise is gone. All right, cool. But welcome aboard. Welcome to the show, Edward Anderson. Go ahead. You can pick it up at any point. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Yeah, I just wanted to join the conversation. I mean, there's a couple of lanes I could take. I mean, as far as Kevin goes, you know, people, it's like they're waiting. Too many people, and I'm talking about men, women. I'm not even talking about just this space. They're waiting for the flame out so they can say, aha, gotcha. See?
What do you mean by flame out?
Well, you know, the numbers to go down to see where the Kevin Samuels road, you know, comes to an abrupt close, you know, stuff like that. And you can tell. I mean, even with the Fresh and Fit crowd, they're always like, oh, man, Fresh and Fit is doing this and Kevin's doing that with numbers. They get some more super chats, you know, this little competitive, unnecessary stuff. But I said it in the chat, and I'm going to say it here. There's actually a couple of different lanes that Kevin could go. Kevin could go back to talking to men, and I think women would want to hear, will probably be, the numbers may go down, may not, but women will definitely hear, like, is he going to have the same smoke for dudes saying goofy stuff? And that'll be a draw. Now, truthfully, most dudes are not going to want to say stupid stuff online because men are not as deluded as women are. Men have a certain awareness because dudes are going to clown by other dudes. if they get on there and say stupid stuff. They're not trying to be that guy, so you're not going to see it as much.
But wait, here's my question: why would he
Um,
need to go?
I didn't
That
say he did. I'm just saying the other
all right,
lane that I probably more want him to go to is him talking to high value men. You know, Shaq has mentioned him. You know, people like that may not necessarily speaking about their past relationships, but I mean, people that they have that perspective and they are still successful, and seeing what they say to see if it reflects what Kevin is saying or if they have any add-ons that they can add. I think those one-on-one conversations will probably be more beneficial. That's where I would like to see that go, to turn into interviews as an add-on to what he already does. That's piggybacking on what y'all said about the celebrities. I think it's got to be set up and stuff like that. I think he's put himself in position to where he could have a podcast around that type of stuff. And then there's credibility there, if for nothing else, that women have demonstrated they want to hear what he has to say. And I'm talking about from a celebrity standpoint, how they would look at it. And then as well as he has dudes, there's appeal even of other races. So, there's no real reason for mofos. Kevin has demonstrated he's not really trying to get the headline, you know what I'm saying? Like the gotcha moment, which is what them celebrities really pay attention to, male and female. So there's really no real reason somebody could make a case to not really do that. I mean, women will get mad, but there's also just as many, if not more, women that would actually they support Kevin, and that's what doesn't get said. So that's where I'd like to see him go. But there's lanes for him to go. It's not he has to keep on doing the same rabbit trick. And I think that's what people think. And I don't agree with
Well, the people that's been there from the beginning, I think a lot of us, it could just be because we've been there from the beginning that a lot of us are kind of waiting to see, what next trick he's going to pull out, or what's going to happen. Because it's when you watch the show, sometimes it's like, okay, I've seen this show, and that's the problem. That a lot of
watch like 5 Kevin Samuels shows, you've almost seen them all. To be honest.
Well, okay. It was a moment where the callers used to come in, and it was never a dull moment. There was some callers. It's like the callers have caught on, but you could tell that's because the audience is stabilizing. When he kept getting new callers, new subs, new people every day, I mean, his channel's still growing, but it was a point where a lot of those people who would call in, they would be like, "Oh, I just found out about you 2 days ago." You knew you was going to see some fireworks because you knew she was going to say something stupid.
Like, but preview grade fuckery. The fuckery's gotten a little stale.
Yeah. Because like a lot of people that call in, they probably found out about him a year ago, 6 months ago. Even you've been watching for 3 months, you kind of know. Oh, I can't come up here and say that. So it is getting to a point to where it's stabilizing for people that's been there for a while. So I have been brainstorming myself, thinking, what could he do to make it fresh? Now, at the same time, we're talking about somebody who's as recently as last night, at least I think that was last night, had like 12 or 13,000 people in his live chat. But we're talking about it like he didn't fell off. But he had 13,000 people in there. But it is still an interesting point, and I'll throw this out to Obsidian. That what do you think is next coming down the pipeline as far as Kevin Samuels' show? Because I mean, I think we all can agree that it's a great, like I said before, it's a great show, and when you got a hit, you got to keep playing the hits. You see an artist that made a song back in 1981, when he go on tour, people want to hear that song. I remember when Prince came to my hometown, he didn't play Purple Rain. Everybody who came back to work the next day that went to the concert was pissed. How you Prince? How you come to our town first time and who knows how many years, and we don't get to hear Purple Rain? Everybody just blew a gasket the next day. But so you got to keep playing the hit, but at the same time, people hear the hit over and over and over again. It's like, all right, it's not. They can get numb to it. That's why artists. That's why they go on the road and go to a different city. So seeing it live is fresh for that person. But on the internet, it's a different thing. Your audience is there looking at potentially the same thing over and over again. So just throwing it to Obsidian, what do you think, if you had to say, would be like the next, thing that Kevin Samuels tries to do to pull off the next? What's his next trick, so to speak?
I don't think that it has anything to do with the show. I think the next move for Kevin is moving things off YouTube and moving things off social media into real life. At bottom, Kevin is about getting black people together. And let's be honest. I mean, I'm looking at a comment by our brother named NBA Fan. Fresh and Fit are consistently getting 10,000 without a celebrity. They're going to eclipse Kevin. That's possible.
Number one, that's bullshit.
Let me
That's
finish.
not true. But
Let
go
me
ahead.
Ed, let Obsidian lay out.
No,
And,
I'm talking
where he
about.
going.
I'm agreeing with Obsidian. But go ahead.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be true. But I think where Kevin is at is he's about bringing black men and black women together. And in order to do that, you have to get offline and get in the real world. So I think what he's going to be doing is operating more live events where black people who are serious about actually getting together happen. And I think social media has kind of become a repository of black folk who don't want to be together. They just want to see a fight. Because really that's all they really have is a fight.
Well, wouldn't online, wouldn't that be like the like that's the best funnel at this point in the game when you're talking about
It would.
he wants to get black men and black women together. I mean, it's been an effective funnel for whatever he's tried to do.
Yeah,
So to say
I agree with that. And that funnel, I like the analogy. The funnel goes down, and it goes from lots of people to relatively few. And I think that's my personal opinion is I think that's where Kevin is ultimately going with this.
to get smaller.
Trying to find those people who are serious about getting together.
So your point is that the goal should be to essentially get smaller on YouTube. I mean, we'll taking it to real life, which means you're going to be dealing with a smaller amount of people, which means you're not going to have this big
you're not going to have millions of people out there.
That don't make no damn sense.
Yeah.
But
all right, go ahead. No, wait, hold on, wait. I do want to hear Ed lay it out because I'm honestly just don't.
Well, yeah, you asked me
exactly
where I think things are going next. I think that's in my personal opinion. I think that's where a lot of the action will happen now is offline. I think that's where it's, and it's interesting. That was the original intent of social media, to bolster whatever you had going on in real life. I'm talking about as a business, to bolster whatever you had going on in real life. But what's interesting to me about black social media, which is very interesting to me, it seems that the social media is the business. I mean, that's like the end all be all of it, and nothing else really much matters beyond that, which is kind of fascinating to me. But in any event.
Yeah, you make a good. I'm going right to you, Ed, but I do want to say you did make a good point about that. That I was listening to Kevin Samuel's new best friend, Saint in the Center, and he did a good job of illustrating how you should the social media. I think you've said this before too, but he was saying that you're building up an audience which essentially is supposed to be a customer base for whatever you actually do. So for example, you're headed in that direction. I give you credit for that because like you're writing books now, so you build up a strong audience base. That's going to be that's going to be headquarters of where you're going to sell your books or sell whatever products you do or do whatever you do in the real world. That's what the social media is for. But a lot of people use it as it's the end all be all. It's what's going on. That's the end all be all, but it's supposed to be something that you use for something else. But go ahead, Ed. You were trying to jump in and say something at one point. Go back to where you said where you disagree. Hold on, I want you to explain exactly what you disagree with.
Okay, so
with Obsidian.
So I'm gonna be real quick with a couple of things first. Long happy life. I would like for you to tell me how can you critique black women without bashing them, because nobody can ever explain that to me. And then NBA fan is one of my longtime really strong supporters. So I fuck with them heavy, but NBA fan, like Long Beach, they get social media celebrities, people with 400, 500 million subscribers, 1.3 million, 5 million subscribers, not to mention the OnlyFans chicks. I mean, let's stop with like Kevin rarely has celebrities what are you talking about? And that's what I'm talking about. Like, come on, man. And like the sandbox is big enough that a lot of people can be in there. I don't understand his need to why, oh, I just want to beat that nigga. I mean, Kevin's 52. They're like in their early 30s. That they're fine and they're growing. I mean, I don't get that. Stuff like that makes Obsidian right about the wanting to fight thing. But like I said, with Happy Life, show me what bashing is, because as far as I'm concerned, bashing is just I don't like it, so I'm gonna call it bashing because that's the only way anybody will
I
pay
stepped
attention.
away for a second. Are you talking to you talking to somebody in the audience?
Yeah, I'm talking to two people, but now I just wanted to get those comments out there.
Yeah, he was addressing some callers.
Yeah,
or commenters, I should say.
yeah.
All right.
But as far as what I was saying, as far as the other stuff, you don't go mass media to distill down. I think, me personally, this is my opinion, Kevin is probably more, but he probably wants to create, when it comes to the black woman, black female getting along problem, black man, black woman getting along problem, he wants to create a climate that will foster an actual conversation, you know, and so, you know, but I don't think he's interested in saying I got XYZ people. Like, if I only get 100,000 black people together, you know, my thing is done, even though that would be a really strong task. I think it's more climate, it's more macro. And then things will kind of happen on their own that needs to happen. But that's where I think it's going, because you don't go mass media to not do that. You have to think about climate, because honestly, Kevin's not the guy. Nobody's gonna be the guy that's gonna make a black chick like, oh, I want to deal with this dude. Anyway, let me say it this way. The issue is very simple as to why black men and black women don't get along. We have no social contract, and black women are playing winner take all. You fix that problem, the dudes are relatively easy to deal with. Like in corporate America, it's always straightforward with the guys. This is what the standard is. You're either meeting it, you're not, and then the details get into the why you're not meeting it. With the women, they have a lot of things that backs them up, aka corporate interests that are invested in black women taking that almost $1 trillion spending power and just liquidating it. And so where Kevin comes in is he creates a climate where the environment is right, because he couldn't do anything if the environment wasn't right for it. Basically, these women, the she economy is getting messed up. These women are looking to try to find some kind of place to land rather than hitting hard pavement. And Kevin is giving them an answer when they can't find an answer anywhere else. Everybody else is telling them you can fly, when they know they about to hit hard pavement and they're free falling. Kevin's actually saying, you're actually falling. Let me tell you how to land without basically, you know, going to the next life, you know.
Wait, real quick, explain what you mean when you said women are playing winner take all. What do you mean by that?
When you listen to women that call in the Kevin Samuels show, and you listen to women that we basically play all throughout the space, they don't believe they have to give anything up. They believe that men should basically do whatever they say with whatever thought that comes in their mind. I mean, this has been validated with not just Kevin, but a lot of people. Mediocre. I mean, the stuff the women say. I mean,
I know what you mean now. Yeah.
I remember, and this is, I remember when Obsidian used to call her Little Miss Chris. It's funny. But she said something that was really pointed to me. She said that black women want black men, and this is why I knew she was gone. Black women want black men to build the community so black women can take it over. That's what they believe.
She said that?
Yes. Quote.
Say that again.
Damn.
Black women want black. She said this in response to SWP. She said black women want black men to build the infrastructure so black women can run it. And she was just stupid enough.
That sounds about right.
She was just narcissistic.
I'm shocked that she said that. That's why I'm shocked. I'm not shocked that thought would go through. I'm not shocked at all that thought would go through her head. I'm just shocked that she said it out loud.
Well,
I mean, how else is it supposed to get built? Black women, they certainly ain't gonna be able to do it.
And this is why and I'm gonna keep it real with you. This is ultimately why they talk about Blackistan a lot, because they know how they're cultured and how they're acting is not conducive to building anything. It's actually destructive. So like, what do you do with somebody that's like a horrible roommate, or somebody that, you don't want them in your house because all they know how to do is wreck shit? You give them a little liquor, you give them this, all they know how to do is wreck it. What they try to do eventually, the worst messy people are the people that don't want to clean shit up, but they don't like messy shit. So what do? They go to the next house or the next friend and they wreck their stuff. This is where I want to get out of Blackistan crap, but I'm not a part of Blackistan. So you can go into the white man to the Latin man stuff and just start jumping up and down, jumping up and down. You'll have some people like Eve that clean himself up, but for the most part, that's where it always goes.
Yeah.
So and what you're seeing is women are bold. This is where Kevin comes in. Women are bold enough to where they're comfortable enough to just say it out loud, where they used to be smart enough not to do that, because that made it a lot harder for us to make our case. Now we don't got to say shit. We just got to play what they say and then ask dudes any questions. And then when they start asking questions and making excuses, they start looking stupid.
Well, the question for me is, and this goes back to what me and Bernard was talking about earlier. So you have this counterterrorism unit, right? If you buy the case that what Nicki Minaj has been saying, we'll use her because she's in the moment. She's in the spotlight in the moment. So her statements, if you take her statements as terroristic toward black men, so to speak. So Bernard is talking about we need, and as a matter of fact, the black manosphere was built largely on a premise of counterterrorism, right? Okay. Fair enough. But we need other parts of the infrastructure too for a governmental military complex. So you need counterterrorism. That's part of a military effort. But you need other parts of a military effort. You need embassies. You need diplomats, you need ambassadors, you need all those other moving parts too. And I think that what's important for us is to not lose sight of that.
Sure.
Yeah,
and
that's very true. But no, well, it's funny that somebody had just sent a super chat that, hold on, wait, somebody sent a super chat that I do want to respond to. It kind of almost touches on where we're going. And to the person who asked what's my email is in the about section. I got to do a better job of putting my email in the description of every video, but it's in the about section, so my email is easy to find, whoever wanted to email me. KG in the building with a $5 super chat says, question for panel, what is the end goal? Increased marriages or a functional, thriving, and competitive community?
That's not my end goal. My end goal is to network as many black men as possible, period. I don't know what people don't understand about that. Now,
he may not understand your he may probably never heard you say that. But okay, when he says what's the end goal, he means end goal. I would say end goal of what? Is he talking about the end goal, the goal of the manosphere, or just the goal of black people, black community, black? I mean, what exactly is he talking about? But the bigger problem with what he's saying, and I'll pass to you, Obsidian, is why would anybody ever say increased marriages or a functional, thriving, and competitive community? That's a problematic question.
I was about to say the exact same thing, because my immediate knee-jerk response would be to that question both.
I just ignored it.
You need both. In order to have a thriving, functional, and competitive community, you need marriages.
Yeah,
we could debate who gets married, how many, and this and that. But just as a general proposition, in order to have thriving, functional communities and competitive communities, you have to have marriages, man.
Yeah, and so our goal is for the quality of life of black men. That's our goal. And the problem is most black people don't know how to separate the black woman from that. So if you want to deal with black women, I mean, you could deal with ADOS, non-ADOS, not saying non-ADOS is perfect, because they are not. And it's up to you. But where I find problematic is you got a lot of dudes that they want to pretend like they're negotiating when they're really negotiating their surrender. The reality of the situation is they just want to save face. They just want to go back to the time where women knew how to make a man feel like a man a little bit and not just put their dick on the table right in front of their face and make them look like he's a unit. But they're cool with the matriarchy. And those are the guys I want to filter the hell out. This is not to say that you
Could you give me an example of what you mean by negotiating a surrender? I'm just curious.
What I mean is you have dudes Did they just want black women to say nice things to them, but still run this gynocracy the same way? They just want to feel better in it, rather than women just say the crazy stuff they're saying today. Like back in the days where the stepdaddy program was operating at full capacity, but
You made it
that
seem
was
like it was government issued stepdaddies when you say that.
no, it was private insurance. It was private insurance. We won't blame the government for this one. That was a volunteer thing. It's basically outside of the crack era. A lot of black men stepped up, so to speak. It was a volunteer draft. Now, to be fair, a lot of these guys were bargain basement shopping. They could get a woman that probably they otherwise couldn't get childless. They could maybe get a point or two, by doing that. Usually a
Yeah.
point. But the woman gave them a couple of kids. It was a mutual exchange, which is why it happened. The newer generation of females was like, they just thought it was magic. This is where your Danica Marie's come in, by the way, because she understands stuff like that. But this is where your new women came in and just thought it was magic, like the homes built themselves. So they were on this finesse, the culture they're on today, and they wonder why they get different results.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not here to say, oh, well, black men don't need to get with black women. But what I'm saying is, what's the social contract? And we can't really truly do that until we network as many black men as we can. So you understand, this is not just a couple of random niggas on YouTube. You got the weight of the majority of black men talking. So you either can get in line, or we're going to let the market forces dictate shit, which is you're going to get replaced. And then we'll try to guide that to preserve the race, which is why I say intercultural dating needs to be definitely in the equation. Because I think if you show a black man, a black woman with good software, he's going to pick the black woman over the other races of women. I'm very confident of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I say the network part. And then if people want to talk about what they want to talk about in the meantime, they have a right to do that. I'm not here to tell them not to. But I think that's where the goal should be. And I say that because as an audience member, you have a role in that. When you sharing our stuff, and maybe not mine, because I can be a flamethrower. Obsidian chooses to pretty much go the more nuanced route with it. So his stuff is more easier where you can throw him at somebody that don't know nothing and they not say F this stuff. Bernard, you as well. And there's guys like that, So you may not share me, but you ain't got no reason not to share Bernard. Ain't got no reason to share. There's certain people you have no
I'll be right
reason
back.
not to initiate those conversations. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's a video that Bernard has. What do you think? This is not somebody where your family's just gonna, oh my God, I can't talk to you anymore. And there's guys like that in the space. And then you have guys like me, Ramil, and others, Jap, where we're more, I don't consider myself a flamethrower, but people could kind of put me in that category and I won't fight it. Yeah. Oh, two things I want to talk about too. If we're gonna have this conversation, the social contract piece, the lack of trust amongst black men and black women, and trust is not a renewable resource. And the other thing that I'm gonna start really talking about, and I've already been talking about it, is I said it before, there are no checks and balances against black female fuckery. There's a whole bunch of checks and balances against black male fuckery. It's just now black women just choose to engage in it anyway. This is where Obsidian said what he said about the violence thing. That's on you. You're choosing to do that. Just like if you choose to sell drugs and you get killed because you were robbed because you were a drug dealer. I mean, I can feel sorry for you, but am I going to feel as sorry as somebody that is not in that life? I mean, come on now. So, yeah.
Right. Victor Carter in the building said, imagine if KS what the couples ministry of KS was the couples ministry of the Black Manosphere meetup. That's how you add women. The women do not need to be added. They just like stop it. They don't need to be added. It's about men. A lot of people don't understand basically the manosphere and the audience and the poor and notoriety of the manosphere is basically what's the funnel, the sourcing. I mean, I'm probably just not describing it how other people would describe it, but essentially it did end up being a career building IT event, and the manosphere was basically just the facilitator of it. Like that's essentially what happens. That's how it's going to grow. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be about. And a lot of those brothers who did attend and went through the training with Theo, a lot of them are en route to making some serious money right now. So I mean, so
Do
It
you
was a
have a
perfect success,
boyfriend?
and we about growing that. But what
I'm
would you say, Ed?
no, I was asking if this like I'm just asking, why are you here?
Who are
Long
you talking
happy
about?
life.
All right, I haven't seen not one comment from this person.
Oh,
What are
this
they
person's
saying?
been making a lot of comments, but the most recent one is y'all want us to come to the table because y'all know we know the stats on y'all relationships with non-black women. Y'all fail wherever you go.
What the
Then
hell?
okay, well here's let me take what you say at face value. If you really believe that, then tell me why is it that black women and black men for that matter spend so much time. The dick policing department in the black community is one of the most well-funded institutions the black community has. Like, why if you know that it,
Again, you made that sound government funded. I'm just playing. Go ahead.
yeah, no,
Go
for real.
ahead.
Well, yeah, you know, hey, if the shoe fits, it
It's
fits.
funny.
I'm not
It's
gonna argue
funny.
with you.
No, it's just funny when
I
you
do
word it
that.
that
I
way.
do
It's
that on
funny.
purpose. I do that
Yeah, I
because
know.
I'm the
I know.
gynocracy guy, so I got to create the institutions that
Yeah.
support the bullshit, right? But my thing is, because I'm the guy that tells black women they should date out and go be free, because I know that at the end of the day is going to be your stuff, and the stats support that. Answer me, because she don't answer questions. It's like because we can time you out, but my question is, why are you here? It is 2:30. This is a man's panel. You don't want to come up. Yet you keep just it's like you want to holler at a black man, but you can't find a man to basically this willing to listen to you long enough to get that stuff off. So you all use us as kind of like a douchebag in order to kind of discharge that bullshit. Because this person's been making a lot of different comments. And I asked them this one question. I asked her about the bashing. Show me a way of bashing. Well, y'all want this, y'all want that. That's that echo chamber stuff that they keep hearing over there. Y'all this, y'all that. Okay, black men are scum of the earth. Black men are less than human. Black men can't read or write. Black men are nothing. Cool. Why are you here? Because you do realize just by you being here, you're validating by you interacting. Why are you here? Why aren't you going to get you a great Latin man, a great white man, so you can get out of Blackistan? Because this is Blackistan according to you all. So why are you here? That's
Yeah.
all I ask.
KG in the building says increased marriages do not equal a thriving competitive community, especially when there is no code. I think in the event that marriages did increase, and I'm not talking about guys just go marry some chick. No, I'm talking about basically a better code of conduct would have to be established in order for better, longer lasting relationships and
And that's
actual
what everybody's
families,
trying to
and with
avoid.
actual families where people will actually work together and do a good job raising children together, and then that would create the community that you're talking about. So it basically when people talk about the low marital rate in the black community, they're not just saying, hey, we need this dysfunctional person over there and this dysfunctional person over there to just come together and be dysfunctional together with some legally binding documents. No, it'll end up being the same damn dysfunction. But so no, it's a
Yeah.
cultural change that has to happen before we can even get to that point. Okay, now I finally seen seen a comment.
Yeah,
Okay,
y'all
yeah,
might as well get
I
rid of
was
her
yeah
shit. She just
yeah
trolling.
I was
Losing the chat.
borderline on the
She
edge.
saying non-black men run the world. No, like even if you argue white, like it's okay. So again, what women do is women go to where the power is. So what that tells
See,
me
now
is,
I don't even make that argument. She say non-black men run the world. The guy that the white guy that you can get can barely run a straight line. Okay, you with a guy, you with the white guy that mopped the floor. Okay,
and that's
and getting pumped and dumped by him. Cut it out.
and
Like,
that's and that's
cut
why
it
you're
out.
here, and that's why y'all are here,
Exactly.
and this is the conundrum that these women are in. So it creates like a lot of this negative, built up frictional energy that just discharges into this insanity.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make it about that because she's just polluting. She just want attention. So whatever.
Yeah.
She ain't got nothing
Damn
to
it!
say.
I lost the comment. I was trying.
She said,
Yeah,
"I listened to the black man
somebody
is
just
the
hide her.
source
Somebody
of
just hide her.
loud."
Somebody just
Yeah,
hide her.
yeah.
you're a loser.
I wanted
Classic.
to just bring this to the conversation, since the question on the floor was originally, what's Kevin's next act?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get what
And
your thoughts
yeah,
on that.
and so using that lady that just was on the screen,
Mhm.
she's been all running around in the chat room. I know you've all noticed that Kevin doesn't talk to nameless people, or faceless people, I should say. You have to cam up, and there's a reason for it. It shows that you have some investment, that you're serious. So this goes back to my point. I think that Kevin is trending in the direction of finding people who are serious. For a lot of black people aren't serious about getting relationships. They're serious about not getting into relationships. And social media is a great platform not to get into a relationship, because you can always find some reason why you don't need to do that. And by extension, deal with your own stuff. And you can do it anonymously, and you can make up, various, identities and that sort of thing. You can do that. You don't have to show your face. You don't have to, you don't have to make any type of investment in any kind of way. And I'm slowly moving in that same direction. I want to talk to people who actually, I made several mistakes when I did what I did in 2015. I made several mistakes. One of them was assuming that the loudest voices in the room actually wanted a conversation. They don't. What they want is to be heard, and to some extent, control others. And Kevin, one thing I've been wondering over the past 2 years, because he's been doing this now for almost 2 years. One thing I've been wondering is, where are all the black feminists? They've been oddly quiet with Kevin's rise. And I'm just waiting for, these black feminists to go, full bore on Kevin. And it hasn't happened yet. And there's a reason for it. Because they're not interested in conversation. They're interested in being heard and wanting to dominate others. So what I've learned is that, and this is one reason, because some people say, well, Obsidian got his lady up there because Donovan Sharp is doing it. Nope. Got nothing to do with it. Bernard, you're my witness. Miss Brown Sugar been wanting to do this since late last year at the Black Manosphere meetup. That is to say, wanting to come and do things with me jointly. We just didn't get around to do it until last month. But firsthand that she's been wanting to do this for a good long minute. So Donovan Sharp ain't got nothing to do with it. Or anybody else for that matter. But one thing I've learned is that you have to talk to people who want to talk, who want to have a conversation, and stop spinning your wheels with people who don't want to have a conversation. They just want to be heard.
Well, yeah, I respect that. I mean, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna hop off. I mean, my biggest issue is, when people start telling other people what they should do. I hate when people talk about this quote unquote message. They use that. They use the space as a way of trying to hold people accountable that they don't have the numbers, the clout, or anything to do. Every person has a right to comport their channel. Now, I'm not saying people can't get critiqued, but every person is an independent operator and have their right to comport their channel the way that they want to. Every single person. If you want to be on some no women allowed type of stuff, that's cool. And if that's what people want to see, then the audience needs to support that. But what I get messed up in is when even in the audience, I'm gonna bring her name in it. They'll sit there and talk the most shit about Jessica X, but you in her chat every time she uploads, and she don't even upload like that. And then you'll be on videos, and for example, so y'all don't think I'm trying to target any one part. Art of Igmore has a no woman policy. He's an Igmore over there at BGS. We have the Coliseum over there. It's no big deal. They can be in the chat, and there's some cool women in the chat, but it is what it is. But you'll have people that'll be in there, and then they'll try to bring up the Jessica X stuff. He runs a tight ship, so that hasn't been carrying no traction. And then they'll be over there in Jessica X's stuff because they always want to be where they perceive the fuckery is. Mm-hmm. And part of them using the women are infiltrated the space or whatever is a way of keeping the fuckery going. And my thing is, if you don't like it, don't watch it. That's where that control others part. Now, I will say the difference between us, let's assume that's true in similar terms for black men and black women, Obsidian, in social media. Let's assume that's true. I don't agree with that, but let's assume it's true. There's a difference between being North Korea and being the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union wanted to spread communism globally. North Korea just want to starve their own people in peace. It's a different threat level. So when you look at like the women want to dominate everything that they can be allowed to dominate, versus the dudes really just want their own club, and then they think they could tell you, me, or anybody else what to do because they associate you as a part of that club. This is why generally when people come up and they say, should I be in the black manosphere, I don't tell them necessarily yes. Like I had a conversation with Minority Nomad on Solo TV 84's thing one time, and he was asking like, because he's black, he has similarities, he associate with the black manosphere. I said, I mean, you don't need to be a card carrying member of the black manosphere to have a conversation with us. But I told him, if you ask me, I'm gonna tell you right now, no. And I said that because I understood what his audience was. He had a more general audience. They weren't all black. They're not all black male. A lot of them are. And his stuff is not going to be similar to what these people want. And that's going to create a bad experience for him overall. Monterey Norman is kind of like in a greater, travel community. And I mean, we can always have interviews with people. Every black man ain't in the space. And that's okay. That's okay, man. Bus driver says that's why his BM is not really black manosphere. It's its own thing. That's okay. That's growing. So anyway, that's why I'll leave you all with. I know Pablo is up here for a reason, not to. Yeah. So yeah. Peace out, y'all. Appreciate it.
Uncle Stu, the old man on the block. Shout out to Uncle Stu. Appreciate the $10 super chat. Shout out to Black Saiyan in the building. He says that man is exactly right. No surrender, SYSBM. Go surrender to other women. I'll just play. Damn it. I feel like I'm missing. Okay, somebody sent some super chats that I forgot to star. I'll go up and try to find them. But we got Pablo in the building. Go ahead. Pablo, you got the floor. You got the mic.
Hey, Bernard, how you doing?
Yeah, right. So, doing good.
Yeah, I actually came to disagree with Edward on one small point.
You should have held him here.
I know. But Edward, it's a small point. The "why are you here" question is something that's thrown around at the Passport Bros, the SYSBMers, frequently, usually by women. So here's the why I am here, or the why we are here. For me, in particular, I can only speak for me. I can't speak for other men in my particular situation. For me, it's camaraderie. If black men don't develop trust, camaraderie, and a business working relationship, then it's going to be hard for you to, number one, change your image and perception around the world. And number two, begin to squad up to kind of check the behavior in the community, so to speak, right? Mm-hmm. So I had a discussion with Obsidian privately, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing, where I talked to him about the difference between Black American culture and Latino culture as far as men are concerned. And what I told him was, in Latino culture, when a woman is a dark triad woman, the men kind of squad up and kind of check the behavior of the dark triad woman, and there aren't as many Joe Buddens there to give her cover. Mm-hmm. That's why Cardi B can do what she does at the BET Awards, but she can't do it at the Latin Grammys. Mm. So Obsidian has a point in that we have to begin to build and show trust at the most, and at least an ability to work with each other at best, right? And so that's why I went to the Manosphere meetup, because it's camaraderie. Now I've met you. I've met Obsidian. I consider you a friend now. Right? And so once I consider you a friend, now I can ensure that we kind of do things in each other's best interest. And even if we disagree, we can find some type of commonality and some type of mutual respect once we met in person. And what you have is a group of guys who don't want to do that for whatever reasons I don't yet understand. Maybe Obsidian can, bowl down that psychological alley. But I was there. I'm almost at retirement. I'm not gonna change careers, but I'm there for the camaraderie, because it begins to build relationships. That's why.
No, agreed. And in all absolute fairness, the person who was asked, "Why are you here?" Her "Why are you here?" is a completely different question.
Right. I get it.
From you. I mean, it's the only brothers who it's the brothers who have gotten that question that are SYSBM or passports bros. It wasn't even that they were SYSBM or passport. It was really other behaviors. It was other actions. It was the simple fact that, I mean, there's trolls in all colors, shapes, and sizes. There are people that I deem to be just outright trolls who just came just to see how ridiculous of a comment they can make. And yeah, they put SYSBM in their tagline, or they will say SYSBM, here and there or whatever. But they also he's also just a jackass,
Right.
You're a jackass who happens to be SYSBM. Great, good for you. Get the hell out of here. So it was so that's where I'm at with it. And that's why I've always had somewhat of a problem when Obsidian is at certain people. Why are you here? It's not that he's SYSBM that's the problem. It's the other stuff that I talked about. But so no, yeah, people like yourself, as far as I'm concerned, you never need to explain that. One, I want better for black men, and if that black man, if the woman he ends up with happens to be from some other country, I don't care where the hell she came from. I don't care. I want better for him. I want more
Exactly.
of us thriving and doing better. That's where I'm at with it.
Exactly. And it's entertaining. Hey, I gotta work 8 hours a day. I'm riding around in this truck. I gotta listen to somebody. I might as well listen to my own. That's how I feel. I might as well listen to my own brothers, let them vent, and I cheer them on. All right, Bernard.
All right. Thanks, Pablo, for coming on up. We are almost 2.5 hours into the show. Thank you to everybody who supported the stream. Oh, and special thanks to Sir Tice on the Patreon end. Sir Tice came through, dropped a Patreon on it. I do appreciate that. I'm about to re-roll put the StreamYard. RM probably been putting the StreamYard link out there regularly, so there's probably no reason for me to do it. But anybody else can come on up, join the conversation, be a part of this thing. We had a number of different topics on the table. We was talking about the original thing with the Kevin Samuels indirectly clapping back at Nicki Minaj, which I found entertaining and interesting, and just looking at the points that was made and the whole.
Now, you said that it was too late. Oh, you suggested that it was too late. Why do you say it was too late?
Well, yeah, there is this issue that a lot of the things that she said in her conversation with him, she reiterated and quadrupled down on it. So to some degree, the people that were basically saying that no, he should have gave pushback in response there, which I thought he should have. But at the same time, I was one of the ones who was given a pass. I was given a pass. So when she came back and doubled down on everything with Joe Budden, then it was like, okay. She had a conversation with Kevin Samuels. She clearly did her research after the fact, because she was saying she saw some of his videos and didn't know the context. Clearly she did her research after the fact. Clearly she know more about this space. So with the smoke that she was displaying in the Joe Budden thing, I tend to believe she had more or less that same smoke back then. It's just undeniable now. And so now, Kevin Samuels is responding, but there was an opportunity to have that conversation right there.
Face to face.
Yeah, to have that conversation right there in real time. It was
Well,
an
how do you
opportunity.
think that would have played itself out?
I have no idea.
It would have been a disaster. Nicki Minaj would have did what we saw right there on that screen with Joe Budden.
Yeah.
How would that be helpful?
It depends on how you define helpful.
Okay. How would it be helpful to foster actual relationships and moving the needle?
It probably wouldn't do that, but it would not have looked bad. Rada God said a disaster for who? He was in a situation where had he clapped back and had he responded to what she said, even, I'm not saying just go crazy on her, but had he just responded firm.
I didn't say him. I said her. How is Nicki Minaj going berserk? Because that's what would have likely happened. What would Nicki Minaj going berserk? How's that helping anything?
Oh, Nicki Minaj going berserk. That don't exactly help nothing. No, that don't help nothing at all.
And what is Kevin about?
If you're asking a simple question, what would it help Nicki Minaj going off? Then no, that wouldn't help nothing. But you gotta. This is a war of ideas. Okay, this is a war of ideas. Her ideas was put out there hard, firm, and her side said, "Yeah, that's right," and then no counter was offered on a major stage. So from that perspective, then it was.
So the argument goes.
You can legitimately say that that counts as a loss. And now we're hearing what he would have said had he chosen to say something. Go ahead.
See, Andre the Machine said that would have made her look bad, little fella. Look bad to who? Look bad to who? Exactly. See, Kevin is in the business of trying to bring people together. But a lot of people are in the business just wanting to see a fight.
The contradiction when you say that he's in the business of bringing people together, but some people are looking for a fight, but a large part of his show did grow off of getting into that fight. But at the same time, it was a fight that he can control, that he knew the beginning of it, the middle of it, and what the end result and the outcome was going to be. So it was a controlled conversation. It was a controlled fight that he knew what the result of it would be. And I think the end result of it is that a lot of people got to consume a lot of ideas that they otherwise never would have. So that was a good thing. With Nicki Minaj, yeah, it would have been a street fight. It would have been, and I'm saying it metaphorically. It metaphorically would have been an unorganized fight, but at the end of the day, it can't be denied that she threw out a lot of stuff, threw out a lot of pro, I would say, womanist ideas, and took a lot of shots against the people who offered the counter and told them to eat a dick, and no response was given. That's worth pointing out.
So we have a situation in Ukraine right now going on.
Speaking of situation in Ukraine, Black Putin. I got to quit clicking on super chats without reading them. But Black Putin says, "Is Putin an international pookie, Bernard?" Yes, he's a high-ranking international pookie. Yes. All right, carry on. Carry on. I'm just entertaining it. Go ahead.
So the argument goes, I was watching some documentary film about him, and a number of different analysts and reporters, etc., was saying that Putin has a view of saving the village by destroying it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was kind of interesting. This kind of sounds to me like scorched earth, but I think a number of Black people kind of have that view, that it really doesn't matter who gets hurt as long as my side wins, my talking points win. And my thinking is, okay, well, what happens to the people that want to actually get together, though? I think Kevin.
Wait, hold on. Her saying Forget about these dudes. Don't worry about them. Get your money and get out. And on the whole little thing that she said was, I would say, against people getting together. So you're saying that he should not have refuted an argument that was anti people getting together, or people getting together, men and black women getting together on a black woman's term. You're now saying that Kevin Samuels should not refute those arguments.
I think Kevin handled it exquisitely well on both counts. On the tactical end of it, there's a strategic end and the tactical end. So his tactics in both instances, the one that we're talking about now, the original one, I think that was what, last month. Both of them were handled very well tactically, but strategically, it was excellent, because now it puts Nicki Minaj back on her back heel. What he just did just now, within the last day or two, is that now Nicki Minaj has to directly attack him. Either she has to fold, or she has to directly attack him. One of the two. She's ramped things up such that she either has to stand down, or now she has to actually attack him frontally now. There's no denying it. And when you do that, this is where things really get nasty, because Kevin can look at the people that he's brought together. And exactly what is Nicki Minaj's track record when it comes to that?
I don't think she's in the business of that.
I would respectfully disagree.
As
Ty City has demonstrated, he's shown footage by way of DJ Academics, where she is talking about the things that I did a damn near 4-hour, de facto seminar about. Dark triad women, by definition, are destroyers of relationships and husbands and boyfriends, by definition.
Right. I just said she's not in the business of bringing people together.
Right. So her frontally attacking Kevin now, I mean, she only really has two choices. Either she stands down or attacks Kevin. If she attacks Kevin, then she really looks crazy, because Kevin out here trying to bring black people together, and has a track record of doing so. I think what he did was brilliant. That's some Marine War College type shit that he did there. Brothers would do well to study it.
All right. Oh boy. Let me see. Where's the next place we're going to go with this thing? I'm trying to scan over some show notes to to look over some things, come up with some questions. I'm also looking in the audience. Anybody got a question or anything they want to throw out there? Y'all can throw something out there on the table. Well, it looks like we just got a new contestant for The Price is Right. We got a brother by the name of Big Boss in the building. What's going on? Welcome to the show. I'm glad you came in right at the right time, because I was grasping at trying to figure out the next question. So you came in right at the right time. I could just pass it over to you. What's your overall thoughts on the conversation, or what did you got? What prompted you to come up?
Several things. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. Believe it or not, I'm rocking with Obsidian a lot. He's making a lot of sense today. Now I'm going to say this. I know we talking about one thing today. I think it was yesterday when you had Minister Jap on. Believe it or not, I rock with Minister Jap. So on that day, I was Team Jap. But today, I'm switching sides. I'm Team Obsidian. He's hitting all points today, man. First of all, Kevin Samuels played that expertly the way he was supposed to. I understand content creators. I'm a content creator myself. I understand for content creation, it's juicy to have controversy. When other YouTubers go at it, especially if they big, I mean, a freaking rapper and a 1 million+ sub YouTuber go at it, think of all the hours of content you can get out of that. So I understand from a content creator, of course you want to see a fight. Now from the average viewers, the viewers and the subscribers, everybody loves a fight. But at the end of the day, all fights are not good fights, you know, and you talk about collateral damage. So at the end of the day, we're talking about male-female relationships that are very serious. And many times there are children attached to it, okay? Even though we are grown here, I hope so, we are grown. Within the male-female relationships, many times there are children attached to it. It's a whole nother generation attached to it. So all this going back and forth and bickering just so you can get some likes, just so you can get some views, just so you can have raw hours of content to edit up later, just so people can grab popcorn and whatnot and get their tea and drink some tea and watch some drama and some mess. We got to elevate and be higher than that. Now, at the same time, I love what the brother said who just got off here.
Well, let me ask you a question though.
Yes.
When you say that we got to
Yes, sir.
elevate and be higher than that, do you think that changes when you find yourself in a conversation with an individual who's not about being that elevated and higher than that? I mean, granted, I mean, this is old hat. We've talked about this a bunch of times. She did set him to the side, say, "I'm not talking about you," but then she just went on a rampage, being very disrespectful to other men.
Right.
So to say it was masterfully played to not, stop or halt or correct any of that, just to act like it didn't happen. Excuse me, act like it didn't happen. Like, are you saying that's masterful? I understand the extreme alternative of wait, hold on now, bitch. Like, he couldn't do that. That wouldn't have been cool. That wouldn't have been cool. You was on her platform.
Okay,
but go ahead.
Were you talking about Kevin Samuels or Joe Budden? I'm not talking about Joe Budden. No, Joe Budden was a seal clapper.
Yeah. I'm talking about Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels did it right. Now, Joe Budden stuff, he was pandering, and it's a shame.
I know. Okay, wait, hold on. But listen. See, this is the difference, and I hate.
Okay, maybe I'm tripping.
Oh no. Let me explain it this way. Yeah, Joe Budden was still clapping.
Right.
Yeah. And Kevin Samuels did and said nothing. So in that way, in that way, you could say. I mean, one is I think the seal clapper is worst. But you can't say it was handled. I don't think you can say it was handled masterfully. I disagree with that one. But I mean, like I said, I think my football analogy was spot on. To do anything on a impromptu Instagram live on her Instagram live, to give her pushback when she's just being her, ignorant sounding expressive self. I mean, I do believe part of that is her act. I have my theories about some people who become really successful, and even if they become successful talking about ratchet stuff, they're actually intelligent, because people talk about ratchet stuff all day, but the person who can get rich doing it is smarter than the average ratchet. So I do think she's actually there's some intelligence underneath that, but at the same time,
you're saying that this is carefully orchestrated and manipulative.
Possibly. Yeah. I see what you're going. Good callback to the dark triad. I see what you did there. But yeah, if you watched Obsidian earlier, you get what I'm chuckling about right now, because I watched the.
She has admitted to, in her interview. We're talking about the actual long form interview she did with Joe Budden. She has admitted to getting, and I use the word, butt shots. Right? She claims because of insecurity. That's fine. Whatever the reason, we know the result. It can be measured in dollars and cents. Nicki Minaj knows exactly what black men want to see. And she makes sure that they see quite a bit of it. Being a dark triad individual means that you care a whole lot for your appearance. Yes, I am saying very attractive people, yeah. That's one of the telltale signs.
Clarence Jr. says, y'all do realize that y'all feel it's necessary to respond and react to what a woman is saying. Why is that? You're trying to protect women from criticism. Stop it. Anyway, I forgot where I was at, but either way, damn, I forgot. We was on the scent. We were talking about yeah, y'all were more or less saying that y'all think he handled it masterfully. I don't think it was handled masterfully. I think something could have been done, but that was back then. That was back then. He issued a response now. So again, it was more or less playing it. He played it safe. I don't, playing it safe isn't always the
Masterly.
best thing. It's
Right.
playing it safe, but it was the safe move to not run a play.
Speaking of safe moves, so I'm listening to a lot of brothers saying he could have did this, he could have did that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there's a brother in the chat room. He says, Jarrell, he didn't have to shout her down or engage in a cussing match, but he could have checked her on that insult. Okay. So we know if he'd have done that, we know what would have happened. Then what? Okay. She goes berserk like she did. Now what? I asked the brothers right now, has those methods worked? In other words, has it gotten the Nicki Minaj's of the world to stop? Going hard on them, going hard in the paint, telling them strags about themselves, bow down, etc. and so forth. Does that make them stop? Is it effective? See, when you're running a campaign, a war campaign, your question has to be, does what you do work? Does it bring about the desired result? Because if the answer is no, then you're basically ineffective at achieving your objective.
Well, generally in real life, if you're dealing with a woman in real life, if she does something that you're not okay with, it is vitally important to say something about it, to check her on it. And then what happens going forward is based off her reaction to you correcting her. So then it turns into a thing in this whole social media space about, men checking women online, men checking women on live streams, men check, then it turns into another layer when you're talking about that, especially again when you're on a woman's show. I mean, so it is a hold on, mute somebody, have some background noise. It is another layer, but in general, yes, you are supposed to correct the woman that's in your life. So when you say, does that work? Yes, absolutely.
Well, I would ask the brothers that have been saying this now for the past month. I think I have the answer, but I'm just curious. Who do they think would have done a better job in that instance? Taking it back to Kevin, the first round, I guess you could call it, between him and Nicki Minaj. Who would have done a better job?
I think
Between who? Kevin and who?
And Nicki Minaj, the first round.
Oh, who won that round?
No. I said who would have done a better job? Since the consensus was that Kevin fumbled the ball, so to speak. Okay, fine. Who would have done a better job?
Oh, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I mean, I could answer it in a way where I'm kind of punting, but I think Kevin, being his normal Kevin self, would do the best job. I think he's the most equipped to do a good job at that because he knows how to walk that delicate balance, that tightrope. That he can ride the unicycle on a tightrope. He knows how to do that perfectly without going too far or without blowing up. So the right answer to the question is Kevin, in my opinion.
Now it's interesting, Bernard, because a number of brothers in the chat room are disagreeing with you, and I'm not seeing in any particular order. I see a lot of names being floated. Guys saying me, I'll do it better.
Right.
But I'm seeing a pattern. Tommy Sotomayor,
Angry number 2016 Obsidian got a vote.
Right. So Angry Man, Tommy Sotomayor, and Fresh and Fit. Now, to be fair, Angry Man hasn't done many. He's done some, but he hasn't done many interviews. We've seen Tommy. We've seen Tommy interact.
Don't. Okay. All right. You sound like you can take a shot.
I'm just saying it's a fact.
I don't know if he's done formal interviews, but I've seen him
in
conversations. I don't know if he's done formal interviews, but I've seen him in conversations with women. He normally does a masterful job, as does Kevin, as does Tommy, as does all the names that we're going to name.
Now, Tommy and Fresh and Fit have done a lot more of them. And so we can definitely establish a pattern here. from everything I've seen, particularly with regard to Fresh and Fit, everything that they've done in terms of checking somebody has ended in somebody being attacked.
Not
It's almost always. I'm talking about black women now. It's almost always ended in violence of some form.
no, it doesn't always. It does not a fight on the show the majority of the time, but when it does, it goes viral. So when it comes to correcting a woman, yeah, Myron does it all the time.
Right.
Black women on the show. It's a regular reoccurring thing that you have to stop them when they're having, side conversations with each other, or they're interrupting, or they're talking too loud, or not talking loud enough. He's constantly correcting women on a regular basis. I think everybody in this space, typically routine, well, not everybody, because most of the big names that we can name routinely does a good job in conversations with women. So
now, what's interesting about because the Saint and the Sinner's name came up for whatever reason.
He does a great job as well in conversations.
What was interesting was that great job wasn't in evidence last night with Jessica X.
What happened with that?
Well, exactly. What happened? Because he took it down. It was so bad that he took it down.
Bad for him?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, according to the live that I saw of Jessica X, of him and her having this back and forth, it didn't look very good on his part, and he took it down midstream.
Oh, so you didn't see it? You're just.
Oh no, she played it, but as she was giving her play-by-play of their conversation, he took it down.
Okay.
He called her names. And
did you see it?
Personally attacked her is what
did you see it? Is what I'm asking.
That's what I'm saying. We were in the process of all of us watching it when he took it down.
Okay, so that's a no, you didn't see it. Did anybody Game Changer, Wizard X? I've been trying to get somebody to give me a in full words, paragraphs, sentences, what happened in that conversation. Wizard X or Game Changer?
No, I didn't see it either.
I didn't see it.
No, I didn't see it.
Pablo, anybody? Going once, going twice.
I did have a question unrelated to this matter, though.
Well, hang on a second. Let us get off the scent of where we're headed. But so all right. So listen, I don't. The route that where this is going is saying who would do a better job, and then now we're going to nitpick jobs that other people have done in conversations with women. Listen, most of the people in this space, especially the people that have successful, thriving channels, most of them do a great job. Have there been moments where they all have either slipped up and didn't do a great job? Yes, everybody has had their moments. So nitpicking that, I think that's not even necessary. But overall, Kevin Samuels being typical Kevin Samuels is typically good at those type of situations because he knows how to walk that fine line. He's actually perfect for it, where he can say, he knows how to say what needs to be said without going too far, and so he's good at it. So he's
Mr. Riley. I want to clarify when I said masterful, and maybe that might have been too strong a word. I was talking about the response, not round one. So I was talking about the response he just did recently, where he responded to Nicki Minaj in his live stream. Like you said,
gotcha.
He hit it in between. Oh, not the initial round one. No, that was not masterful.
Gotcha. Yeah. The initial round one.
No, that was not masterful. As a matter of fact, I don't like how he rated her too high. I don't think he should have gave her a 9.
Yeah, I mean,
who would be a 9 in your mind? I'm just curious. Who would be a 9?
I kind of want to get past that part.
A 9 exists? Okay,
I'm asking you, who would be a 9 in your mind?
Well, you know what? You know who would be a closer 9? I rate higher than KS because I think Beyonce. Old Beyonce, 2014 Beyonce is more of a 9.
We get to the point where we're debating who's an 8, who's a 9.
Right. Well, he asked a question.
I understand. I'm trying to move.
And that's subjective. That's subjective.
It's not subjective. Nicki Minaj or fucking Leslie Jones. That's not subjective. But if we're talking about Nicki Minaj, Beyonce, or Rihanna, okay, it's tomato. It don't really matter. But all right.
But yeah, not round one. I'll talk about his response.
Gotcha. Wizard X, before I go to you, I'm going to go to Game Changer because Wizard X, you sound like you said you were taking us trying to take us to another subject. I don't want to move on completely yet.
All right.
So
Okay.
I'll go to Game Changer first. Go ahead.
Okay, so shout out to the brother from the town. Salute to you. All right, and secondly, the first, I didn't see your whole stream on it, so I don't know what he did on the second interview. I watched the replay, but the first interview, I think he handled it considerably well. Perhaps not perfectly, but he did handle it considerably well, considering that he was on her platform. You see, the thing is that had she hung up on him, or hung up on him and then called him the F word or an incel or something like that, that would be a bad look. So he has to go in to her show with the intention to not get hung up on. That would be like the ultimate L. He avoided that masterfully. So, because after she hangs up on him, she could say anything she wants, and that will be the standing logic, especially when you're dealing with her fan base. The way he handled it, to me, was perfect. Well, I shouldn't say perfect, but to me, it was the best thing he could have did, given the situation. And then later, if he had choice words, from members who've seen him on her show, members of her audience that now became members of his audience, if he had, words later, he's like, okay, this is how I really feel. And, now I get to say more without worrying about being hung up on.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. At the end of the day, I'm not tripping about what happened then. I think it's more interesting what happened recently, which I did the pre-recorded video on that where I edited everything together, where he is now responding to her. I think that part of it is more interesting. Debating what he could have should have did. That's a part of the conversation that we can't escape. But yeah. But go ahead, Wizard X.
Yeah. Well, regarding Kevin Samuels and the Nicki Minaj thing, I think he's just doing what's best for him, and where he envisions how the space for black men will go. So I'm not going to say anything in regards to that. But I'm surprised that no one really mentioned the developments internationally, where South Korea has elected its, well, people have called them anti-feminists, but they've elected this man known as Yoon, and he he has stated that he's very anti-feminist, and he has indicated that feminism has contributed to the decline in birth rates. I'm just surprised that no one's really talking about matters like this.
Yeah, that's something that you don't hear politicians say. But
I heard Satan Sinner speak about it, and he did criticize the space for it.
I did see an article on that. Yeah, I haven't done any content or done anything on it, but I did see an article on it, so I am aware of it. But no, nobody's really talking about that. Holy shoot, we closing in on the 3-hour mark, and it's almost time for me to get off this thing. But critical activists in the building, go ahead. What you got, real quick?
Yeah, thank you for having me up here. I guess what I will just say is that taking it back to Kevin Samuel's original response, is my thing is that like he handled it the best way he could have in regards to the potential fallout that could have occurred. Right. I think I'm in a different generation than a lot of you guys. And so I'm in a lot of different other social media spaces to where there is a consistent narrative that paint the black manosphere as the new MGTOW or incel or whatever. And I don't just think that had Kevin done that, Nicki Minaj blew up in a way that we can expect her to logically, that would have been a great space or a great outcome for the black manosphere, in particular in the mainstream media, because you did have mainstream media right after that, report in on it. So that means that they were watching, and they're backing the black female fuckery, as you guys say. So had that happened, had that blew off, we could have the whole manosphere could have expected a mainstream media press run continuously that is anti-black manosphere, hell bent on shutting you guys down and or painting you guys as like these incels or whatever, right? And
my question is,
that brings us, hold on, but that puts us in a situation where any response on any mainstream platform where anybody gives a harsh reaction and anybody just gets a thumb up there, whatever, for the for the manosphere. They could start trying to do that same thing. So it's almost like you're saying, once it gets so big, we gotta be good little boys now.
No, I guess what I'm trying to say is that for the time being, is like as I see it right now, in response to, and maybe like because I'm overthinking it, but like I looked at the response to the Elle magazine piece, that article, right?
Mhm.
And how I see is the Black feminists are doing a playbook so that their run is put little things here and there in the media. So when this cards and these dominoes fall down, we already have a track record of painting these guys in a certain type of way on social media and in the mainstream avenues that we directly control. And so looking at that, a mainstream press run like right now with all those pieces in play would not be advantageous. I'm not saying that we like the manosphere like response and be a good little boy. I'm just saying strategically, from what I see, where that the manosphere isn't at a place to take such a hit, especially with these females putting basically putting the pieces on the chessboard, right? I haven't seen the only other counter to I've seen is O'Shea's Negro Manosphere, and that's not like the equivalent of Elle magazine, although I do love it and I read it.
But can I say something? Hello? Yeah.
Yes.
My original question during that, when that whole thing happened, is Kevin trying to join the mainstream or disrupt it? And I think some of your dialogue sounds like you want Black Manosphere to join the mainstream but not disrupt it, which in a sense nothing really changes if that's just a process. Because people are gonna have to comply and accept the standards that have been established already by, I guess you can say, the gatekeepers of the mainstream.
Let me clarify. My position is that I don't want to see this space become the new MGTOW, to where whatever is brought up in any type of space or any type of way, that there are already made formulated arguments against it to shut it down, right? It'll put it in a box. It's not about not disrupting the mainstream. Like to disrupt the mainstream the mainstream narrative would be the ideal goal. Like I know Edward came in here and said that that's not his particular goal, but like I think that it would be very powerful to do that, right? And yeah, peace God, he is in the mainstream at this point. The thing is that like as an entire space, what I'm saying is like as an entire space, like if you got like I don't know if you guys are in these other spaces around like social media or in other spaces of mainstream media, the entire space could be painted negatively, and it'd be a disaster for the space and the dialogue and the conversations that are happening. Now
it's going to happen eventually, and just like how I guess some people tried to paint that shooting that occurred with like this guy and his ex-girlfriend or wife, and they tried to paint that on Kevin Samuels. So it's going to happen eventually. I think like what I envision, or I mean what I see, that's a potential, and I think I've heard some rumors about it, but where this space can kind of form similar to like what the Daily Wire has formed, where they're not only have their own website, their own stream, their own subscription podcast, but they've started producing movies and whatnot. So that's a more profitable way to try to, I guess, disrupt the mainstream, rather than trying to say, hey, own network, we really have a voice, and I think you should produce one of our movies. No, that's not gonna work. The better route is just to produce your own space.
All right, I hate to break up the action. Well, Game Change, you got any final things you wanted to get in? All right, what I meant to ask you, are you going live?
Yeah, I'm going live in about 30 minutes. I got some stuff I got to do before then.
All right, so yeah, you don't got the link ready. Okay, all right.
Oh yeah, let me put the link. Yeah,
but,
I'm
all right.
I got like
we about to get up out of here. Critical Activist Wizard X, thank y'all for hopping on up. In the new brother to the panel, Big Boss in the building. Shout out to you. Nice setup. I see you got a channel.
Oh yeah, it's the same name, Big Boss Real Talk. Hey, real fast before you kick me off, can I just cook for one hot second?
Yeah, make it quick, because I got to roll.
Yeah, I hear you. I feel you, man. Yeah, my only thing is too, like, it's a trip for us. It's the red pill or the manosphere space. Men should be able to have our own space. And like I was saying, I like how the other brother said he made the analogy of the old school Soviet Union in North Korea, One wanted to take over the world. One just want to be a dictatorship to their own country. The whole point is, if the male content creators want to have our own space, like a locker room, like a barbershop, yeah, it's the internet. Anybody can click it, right? But it's intended for men. We should be able to have our own space. The whole thing is like what everybody always say: if you don't like it, don't watch it. Why is you dragging your dusty self over here to cause drama over here? Stay on your side. The grass is greener on the other side, right? Let us rock out over here. You rock out over there. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't understand that. Hey, why would somebody purposely come to somebody else's shit to start some drama? Stay where you at. Let me rock out. Because I say on my channel, Big Boss Real Talk, my channel is a channel for men. Women are welcome because it's the internet. You can't stop it anyway. But I say they got to sit in the back. They got to be quiet. They got to listen to learn, because I'm rocking for men, and I'm teaching men to get their passports and travel, so you don't have to deal with a lot of this feminist BS. That's what it is. Big Boss Real Talk, Oakland, California.
Right on. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks for coming on through. Thanks for coming on through. All right. All right, we about to check up out of here. Obsidian, you got some final words?
Thank you.
All right. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming on through. I just dropped a link to my last video that I made. Actually, it's a more short, precise, concise video on this same topic. So check that out if you haven't seen that. If you want to just get all the bullet points right there, fast, quick, and easy, go and check that one out. I'm dropping the link to that in the chat as well. Again, thank you everybody. My channel been growing a little bit lately, so thank you everybody in attendance. Thank you anybody who super chatted, like, share, subscribe, did anything to help the channel in any way, shape, or form. I greatly appreciate you. And with that said, we are out of here. Peace.